Howdy, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hello, Quinn. Hello, Rika. Hello, Ryo. Haven't checked in one of these streams in a while. What's up? Nothing much. How are you doing today, Ryo? Oh, I started HRT. Congratulations to her. Today's my own injection day. You've got the stream, so be significantly less terrible, I guess. And we've got a great day, because 5.6 trailer and continuing 3.2. Today is Lesbian Visibility Week. It's ending today. Oh, rip. Yeah, all the lesbians are going away now after today, which is unfortunate. I like having them around. Ugh. No, streamed last week because of Easter? Yeah, I did. So I was, yeah, I'm not like, okay, so here's a little context for this. My family is not religious at all. So I wasn't like up for like mass or whatever on Easter, but my family still uses Easter as a chance to get together and eat dinner or lunch, really. So that's where I was. I was out with my family eating lunch, and then I went and hung out with my brother for a bit. We walked around town, and we went to a record store because my brother there's a couple of record stores in my town, and my brother wanted to walk around a bunch, and go to see a couple of them. And we went to one, and this is one of the bigger record stores in the area. And we're looking through, and I come across the hardest decision of my life, because they had vinyl copies of both Ants From Up There by Black Country New Roads and Since I Left You by the Avalanches, two of my favorite albums of all time. Like, so it was either spend like $80 and get both of them, or just get one. And so I had to make the choice, right? I pretty much had to make the choice. I ended up going with Ants From Up There just because I had to. But part of me really wants to go back and see if they still have Since I Left You, because just having Since I Left You on vinyl just feels so right. But yes, I do have Ants From Up There on vinyl now, so it's good. But like, because Since I Left You was made entirely from samples of vinyl, they sampled the entire. So yeah, Since I Left You is a dance album made entirely of samples. There's like something around 3,500 samples is the estimate. But everything was so yeah, everything was sampled, but everything was sampled off of random ass vinyls that the Avalanches found in random record stores that they went to. And so there is a very the specific kind of color to the album that I can only imagine like comes through even better if you listen to it on vinyl. So I'm like, I still want it. I still really badly want that album on vinyl. Because I do have one of their other albums. I do have We Will Always Love You on vinyl, and it was one of my favorite listens for vinyl. But yeah, So yeah, but I did have to get Ants from Up There because it's Ants from Up There. It's whatever. It's one of the best rock albums ever. So, anyways, yeah. So, actually, I'm gonna go on one ramble. Have you listened to any more of Forever How Long? I have. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it. There are a couple of tracks that I do really love. I do love Besties. I actually really like Socks. And Nancy Tries to Take the Night. Like, for me, Forever How Long is a harder album to listen to start to, like, front to back, start to finish. Yeah, for me, I think it's harder to listen to start to finish than Ants from Up There. But I do love some of the songs in isolation, and that's what I actually will end up doing more, is I will end up listening to them as more singles, which I do kind of bemoan the pattern of albums not really being cohesive pieces of music anymore and just being kind of collections of singles, but it's good music, so I'm not gonna complain too much. Yeah, Nancy Tries to Take the Night is a really good one. My main listens are Besties, Socks, Happy Birthday for the Cold Country, and Nancy Tries to Take the Night. And Goodbye. But yeah. So I still am getting used to it. I do still think I prefer Ants from Up There. But also that's not saying a whole lot because Ants from Up There is just such a high bar in my head. And again, I wasn't I went in not expecting that same album again. I was expecting not as much of a tour de force. But yeah, I'm getting used to it. The Big Spin is also fun, yeah. It definitely is a more fun. Like I do like the change of tone because of how fucking depressing Ants from Up There was. Like it's nice to just have some like happy shit in an album after the absolute agony that was Ants from Up There. Hello Phantom, welcome in. Okay, so the plan for today is gonna be watching this and then getting back to HSR. However, before we do that, I actually want to pause music. I also want to show. So I have been playing just absurd amounts of League of Legends, right? Like I've been really playing a lot of League of Legends. I just need to show you the shit I've been up to. So I have been stuck in Iron for months, right? The lowest rank that you can be. Right? I've been stuck in Iron for a while, but at some point on the 23rd of April, something fucking clicked for me, and I have been on an absolute tear up into bronze. And like right now, I had like before Friday, I think I had an 80% win rate on my past 20 games, which is absurd, right? That is absolutely insane. But like on the 23rd of April, I lost my first 2 games of the day, and then I just stopped losing. Like that's the 23rd. You go back a page into like the wins, 1 loss, more wins, and then like the 25th where I just actually lost a couple of games. But like, so I don't know what clicked. I do not know what clicked, but something clicked for me, and I just went on a fucking tear. I think definitely part of it is I stopped bouncing around on champions. I just stuck to Talia and Zaya. But also, like, good lord, I went insane. But now I'm in bronze and I'm very happy. Anyways, I just had to yap about that. I have been playing this game a little bit too much. Hello, Nix, welcome in, welcome in. This 5.6 stream. Was there a stream or because I figured with all the voice actor shit. No, there is a stream, never mind. I just missed the trail. I just missed that. Okay, so Windbloom, apparently. But yeah, we're gonna watch this shit, and then we're gonna get into some HSR, and yeah. So let's just watch this shit. Let's just watch this. Hello, Venti. Going back to Fontaine. Hello, Farina. This is literally a cooking show. Let's go. Escoffier. Whole alarm impact continues. Let's go. Orodon in Fontaine is crazy. Oh yeah, this guy. Aoife? Yeah. He has a gun. Now the Anima Catalyst? Yeah, it's been a minute. Whoa. Hold on. I'm gonna drop the quality. Because for some reason my internet has been wacky. My stream is perfectly fine. It's just video streaming. Like me streaming content on my it's been I don't know why. Okay, here's the fun shit. Here's the fun shit. Oh. Microphone's a little bit too loud. Here's the fun stuff. This kid is basically just Mizuki again. Okay, here's the interesting shit, I think. So festivals, Windbloom, I love that, but public bath from the time of Remuria. I don't know who's talking. I guess about to be polling for not one but two win characters with greenish hair that have a gun. Hell yes. Also, hi Spooky, welcome in. Okay, so I'm assuming this Kini's talking here. Given why I came here, don't you think it's curious that an ancient dragon relic of an owner would turn up like this out of the blue? I suspect this gun, okay, it's just a fucking gun, might have something to do with that smuggling case. I slipped through the cracks. Hi, Gold. Okay, so that's Albedo's JP voice, which I don't think I've actually ever heard that. Koidao is so much better for Albedo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. We're finally getting fucking answers to the bullshit that is Albedo's character story. Cause okay, will this finally answer with the question of what the fuck is the heart of Nibirius? Will this ever answer that question? I really hope that this will answer like what was the heart of Nibirius, because that still drives me nuts that just kind of was dropped in Albedo's lore and then never touched on. Oh shit, okay. Oh hell yeah, let's go. Where is this? Okay. Okay. He's real! No fucking way he's real! No! He's real! Okay, so I'm not gonna judge Daily Dahlia for their whole thing, just because I was a Silk Song believer for so long. I was a Skonger for so long. But I could have sworn, like, I was convinced this fucker was scrapped. I could have sworn this fucker was scrapped. Okay, so I need to actually read. Literally just chess. That's an event. That's the event. This patch is literally just chess. Chess theory goes crazy. This is a Mario boss. I'm sorry. That is a Mario boss. That is not Genshin Impact. That is a Mario character. Albedo, what are you doing, baby? Villette was a stat. Okay. It's Alfredo. It's gotta be Alfredo, right? It's not Albedo, it's Alfredo. Okay, Varka. Whoa! Okay. Okay. Finally, Varka exists, Dahlia exists. I'm convinced it's Alfredo because, like, last time we were in Dragonspine, they just dropped, like, they forgot about Alfredo, or like Alfredo still exists. We know he's out there. We just don't like entirely, you know, we just you know. I think this is all just Alfredo doing bullshit. Albedo is still chill. I hope. I really hope Albedo is still chill. But yeah, now we also have Varka here. Good lord. And Venti story quest too, maybe? Paralogism? Okay, so let's look up what paralogism means. I should have known that. A piece of illogical or fallacious reasoning. Okay, so yeah, a paralogism is a piece of illogical or fallacious reasoning, especially one which appears superficially logical or which the reasoner believes to be illogical. So a paralogism is like oh, what's a good example of any fallacy or error in reasoning? In Kantian ethics, the four pillars of pure reason to show that. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So it's about specifically paralogism is a mistake in logic. It's a mistake. It is a mistake in logic. It is a non-malicious mistake in your logic, or because you like either just skipped over it or you believe it to be logical, right? I think that's a major point of this is it's like okay, how in my head this makes a lot of sense, but I'm trying to put words to it. Because like a lot of Teyvat, we believe, like a lot of the people in Teyvat believe they know what's happening, but they don't really. So like it's kind of that idea, right? Where they believe something is true, not because they are malicious, but because they have been lied to or whatever. Something like that. That idea.
Johnny LaQuasto, and I'm the voice of Aoife.
Hey, your turn.
Hello everyone, my name is Emily Cass and I voice Escoffier. I'm so excited to be here.
She's British.
And I am so excited to be hosting alongside you two today.
Oh, by the way, Emily, I have to say, the way your chibi's tail moves around is so cool.
Oh, actually, it's not a tail. It's a self-adapting movement signal tracking support mech. It's a piece of tech, basically.
It's a tail.
It helps Escoffier in the kitchen and in combat. It's one of her essential utensils.
It is a mechanical tail. You can just call it a tail, Escoffier. The logical deduction is false because a piece of information is missing. Yes, or a piece of information, a core piece of your argument is incorrect. Either because it is missing or because it is just false, right? So, say you... Okay, here's a dumb reference. Do you guys remember that One Eye Carly episode where Carly tries to convince Neville that there's a new number called DERF? I think it was like between 3 or 4, right? Imagine you were just so convinced that there is a number called DERF and you try and write like a mathematical proof that with the belief that DERF exists, right? Your answer is going to be wrong, but like your answer is going to, yeah, 1, 2, 3, DERF 4, exactly, right? But like the answer you're going to get from that proof is going to be completely incorrect. But that is a paralogism because there is no malicious like trying to lie to people or whatever. It's just you are genuinely convinced that DERF exists. You were taught that, you were under the false belief that DERF exists, but you still made a false argument because of that. That's what we're talking about. Because so like I'm thinking it's more like that of we're going to deconstruct maybe some of the assumptions that we have about Teyvat because we have made some assumptions based off of incomplete or false information, right? I got the reference from Greek. Let's see it. I'm curious.
but it looks so much like a tail.
It is a tail.
A demon chef.
Ah, okay. That seems a little extreme.
Yeah, I'd say so too, but honestly, I don't know much about Escoffier. Can you tell us more about her, Emily?
Calling something paralogo is semantically equivalent to absurd. Okay.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at her profile.
So it's a
Escoffier used to be
Escoffier.
the head chef at the Hotel de Bourg.
Oh,
Former.
The
Okay.
hotel is famous for the extremely popular and exclusive Gâteau de Bourg.
Wow. Exclusive?
Yeah, only a limited amount of slices are available per day. Escoffier is a master of precision gastronomy, which means she approaches cooking as a science. She even develops advanced...
I like how there's just a picture of Farida here. Like, she's just there on Escoffier's
using her
profile.
cooking process.
wow, that's some dedication to her craft.
Of course, in Escoffier's kitchen, no dish is ready to be served until it has her stamp of approval. And when she likes something, she gets completely lost in the flavors. It looks almost like she's in heaven.
That sounds incredible, but what if she doesn't like it?
Oh, then she'd probably say something like...
You thought cream of mushroom soup was ready to serve after 3.5 minutes on the stove. You'd have had more sense serving hot water with ice cubes. At least then you wouldn't have wasted all this perfectly good cream and mushroom.
Wow, intense.
I promise Escoffier is actually very well-mannered most of the time.
I actually
But
kind of
when it comes
prefer
to
British
food,
accent.
she
I'm
couldn't be
not
more
gonna
strict.
lie.
It's all for good reason, though. Escoffier believes her mission as a chef is to make haute cuisine accessible to all. So she's not just strict on other people.
Could
she
be the case for
demands
punishing
perfection
Albedo
herself
being fully
too,
reasonable,
because
or not
that's
for
the only way to make a
Okay.
dream a reality.
No, that's true,
Oh,
actually.
Is that why she develops all those cooking?
That's true. It could be, yeah. No, I like that. I like that thought process actually a lot. Also, hi Shelly. It's more the idea where you blindly believe the truth you've been taught your whole life, and even though it's wrong, you follow it. I don't like. No. A parallelism is specifically an argument that it refers to an argument that you are making that is false is mistakenly false. It is specifically the argument that you are making that is incorrect. So, like Ryo said, specifically the parallelism could be Albedo's trial of being considered guilty. That conclusion, that the argument that is being made is incorrect because of a missing piece or incorrect piece of information, which could be the not accounting for Alfredo, right? Something like that.
Mecca?
That's right. With their help, even people who are short on time or cooking skills can be capable of making a good meal.
Ha, okay. That feels like a personal call out. But seriously though, I'm telling you, I could use something exactly like that.
Same here. Emily, you said Escoffier used to be the head chef at the Hotel de Bourg. Does that mean she doesn't work there anymore?
Yeah, that's right. She even had to spend time in the Fortress of Meripede.
The Fortress of
Oh,
Meripede?
good lord. Okay.
What happened?
We can't divulge the details right now, but all will be revealed in Escoffier's story.
She's just
Above
a girly
all.
pop.
So be sure
You
to
put her
check
in
out
jail?
Trusted
How dare you?
Travelers. You'll also be rewarded with extra Ascension materials for Escoffier. Oh, and travelers will get to take part in a one-of-a-kind culinary showdown in this quest. Not only will travelers get to experience Escoffier's mentorship firsthand, but special guests will also make an appearance.
Special guest, nice. Huh. Okay, I see blubber beasts and romaritime flowers. Wait, do we have to cook 4 blubber beasts using romaritime flowers? That's not much to work with.
All I can say is, trust in Escoffier. She can work wonders.
Oh, I'm definitely a believer. Okay, so we know what she can do in the kitchen, but what about on the battlefield?
Right, let's get into it.
I'll see what she actually does.
Escoffier wields a cryovision and is a powerful
Okay.
addition to freeze-focused teams, which
Ooh.
brings us to one of her talents. When Escoffier's elemental skill or elemental burst hits an enemy, she can reduce their resistance to hydro and cryo damage.
Ooh, okay.
The more hydro and cryo characters in the party, the greater the reduction.
Ooh.
Okay. So it looks like the enemies here aren't actually frozen, but the resistance reduction still takes effect.
Yeah, that's really important. As long as her
Wow, a
elemental
lot of
skill or
resistance
burst
shred.
hits an enemy, the reduction takes effect. The enemy doesn't need to be frozen. That means the talent works on bosses and other unfreezable enemies.
Wow, so it seems like any character that deals hydro or cryo damage can benefit from that talent. I can definitely see her being a powerful support in freeze teams.
True, but Escoffier is not just a support. She can dish out damage as well. With an actual dish.
No way.
I wonder if she works
And when
in Melt,
Escoffier
too.
unleashes her elemental skill, she summons a cooking mech to the field that follows the active character and periodically fires projectiles at nearby enemies.
That's
to do
crazy,
cryo
actually.
damage. So with her ability
The
to avoid
constant
resistance,
cryo
she
application,
basically buffs her own
like,
damage.
yeah, her and Farina together is crazy because you have the, like, you have, you pretty much have the autism creatures, which will stay on, wait, no, they don't stay on the field when Farina's on the field. Okay, that's tricky. Because, like, you would have the autism creatures, and then you would also have Escoffier's cryo application, so that's just so much application for freeze. They're, like, giga frozen.
In addition, her elemental burst restores HP to the entire party.
Incredible. Okay, so she can buff the party, dish out damage, and heal. Wow.
They're on the field when she's
Sounds
off
like
field.
pretty
Yeah,
versatile.
no, I have not played this game in so long. I forget how the autism creatures work.
She has another ability that really showcases her skills as a chef. If you hold her elemental skill, the cooking mech she summons can absorb elemental energy and convert it into a delicious dish.
Well, that's interesting.
I've never seen a talent
Oh yeah,
like
right
that
there.
before.
Literally, the autism creatures are
Okay,
out when
so
she's
you
out.
don't even have to prepare the ingredients yourself? Bro, that's awesome.
Yeah, and plus she can produce several kinds of dishes this way.
Well, that will be so fun to check out.
So
in
yeah,
game.
you summon
Totally.
autism
So take
creatures.
note of this next piece.
You summon autism creatures. You switch to Escoffier, and then you just have perma freeze because Farina's hydro application is the best in the game, and then you have Escoffier, which is constantly doing cryo application. So you're giga freezing, and then you're also shredding those resists. That's bonkers, actually. That's wild.
Piece of news, travelers. In the first half of version 5.6, we'll have event wishes for Escoffier and Navia. A new 5-star polearm, Symphonist of Sense, will be featured on the weapon banner. Our new 4-star character, Aoife, will also enjoy a drop rate boost on the first half banners.
Aoife, no way, bro.
I think that's my line, but I couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, and another bit of really exciting news is that travelers will get
Yeah,
to
and
spend
healing
more
for
time with
fanfare. Yeah, she
Lucy in the
works
new
so well
version.
with Farina. Good
Wait.
lord.
Who are you talking about?
Okay, take a look at this clip and you'll see.
All eyes are on me. Lowly servants, behold, the almighty Dragon Lord's magnificence! The heck are you on about? Why does no one ask for the autograph of the almighty Dragon Lord? Kahula how? Oh, wow. No way, bro. What? You little... Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Do you even hear yourself, bro? How dare you?
What the fuck?
You insolent!
I'm so happy this fucker was mute for so long.
No way, bro. Huh? Seriously? Seriously? Do you even hear yourself, bro? Darn it. Oh, wow. No way, bro. Do you even hear yourself, bro? You're hopeless. The almighty Dragon Lord, Kahulao! His wisdom is wasted on you. No way, bro. See you later. Huh? Ah!
Oh, you meant Kukuku and a how. Wow, I feel like those two could argue forever.
Dude, you don't know the half of it.
Hang in there, bro.
You too, huh? Man, this bro thing is really taking off.
Well, Cuckoo is just that infectious. So, travelers met Aoife in the previous
Funny.
version.
Yep.
But since we now have the chance to add him to our
Anyways.
parties, want to give us a formal introduction, Johnny?
I thought you never asked, Jane. Absolutely. As most of you probably know, Aoife is a Saurian vet from the Flower Feather Clan. In that land, humans and Saurians live and fight side by side.
Freezing constantly
Saurians
doesn't
get
particularly
sick
feel
and
useful.
hurt just like
It doesn't
everyone else.
really
So
feel
Saurian
useful
vets do a
unless.
very important job in that.
Okay.
And Aoife
I mean,
is a
you do
recruit.
have
In
the
fact,
you do have the I mean, it could be nice with either a Claymore user for Shatter or for Melt, although with Melt you would be losing some of that shred, that resistance shred, because you don't, like, her shred scales off of how many Cryo or Hydro users are in her party, so I don't know.
You've
But yeah,
probably
Freeze
heard
isn't
some of his
really
accomplishments
that
already,
useful.
Like how he saved Kakuku's life, and now, of course, Kakuku works as his trusty assistant.
Yeah, Aoife is practically a miracle worker. I heard Ahau got sick one time, so Kaniche took him to Aoife for treatment, and what do you know? Ahau was better in like 2 seconds. Imagine that.
Sounds like Aoife really knows his stuff. I wonder if he can treat all kinds of dragons, like even ones from other nations.
I guess, in theory.
What if the
yeah,
animation
I don't
just
see why
stopped?
not.
Like,
Plus, if it was an emergency, Kakuku could help him get there in no time.
Sarah's just
I mean,
garbage.
I heard
Yeah,
the
I mean
Flower
it
Feather
is,
Clan
but
is known
I
for
don't know.
riding
It's the
Kukasaurs,
only thing I could
but
think of.
This is less riding and more.
Hello, Yuki. Welcome in.
Hey, this is a Kakuku appreciation zone only, all right? But seriously, just wait until you see him.
They brought a
sprint.
vet for
He
naval.
sprints out
Yeah, he
those
got
huge
stabbed.
rings,
You know,
and
he
it's
has
super
a vet on
Oh, and
site.
while we're on the subject, if there are any travelers who haven't done the part of the Ochkanatlan World Quest where you chase down the evil dragon, try it out with Aoife. It'll be a completely different kind of flying experience.
Yeah, a patient for a checkup.
Okay.
An Animo Vision user with a lot of tricks up his sleeve. For example, when faced with aggressive enemies, Aoife can unleash his elemental burst and fire a therapeutic sedative, creating a wind current that pulls in and restrains enemies. Yeah, of course, as Aoife's good bro, Kakuku also helps him out in combat. With Aoife's elemental skill, Kakuku lifts him into the air, giving him an aerial advantage in combat.
Just
And
fucking
while in the Aoife can continuously fire tonic shots, which deal
That's
animal
really-
damage on
that's
impact
so
and restore
funny to me.
HP to the entire party.
Death from
Oh,
above.
nice. So, what kind of team comps work best with Aoife?
Well, to answer that, we should introduce one of his talents first. When Aoife is in the Night Soul's blessing state, he can use his Field Medic's vision to increase swirl and electrocharge damage based on the total amount of Night Soul points across the entire party.
Okay, so he works well with characters that can trigger swirl and electrocharged reactions, and characters that can generate Night Soul points. He seems like a really flexible unit.
Yeah, he is. Plus, in areas with Natlan's phlogiston mechanics, if your current active character or indwelled Saurian's HP drops below a certain percent, Aoife can consume his own phlogiston to heal them.
Nice, putting those medical skills to use.
Yeah, they need to rework
Really
Fish so she can
intuitive
so
and
Oz can do that
helpful
for her.
exploration. I feel like exploring the sacred volcano will be a lot easier with Kakuku.
The fact that he can use his burst without interrupting his
What
eat,
can
that
I
is
say?
really
He
fun.
is a helpful little guy. Now, moving on to our
That's such a
next
nice,
news.
like,
The new boss is
that's such a
coming in
nice
version
quality of life
5.6, the
thing.
Secret Source Automaton Overseer device. Travelers will need to defeat it to obtain ascension materials for Escafia. Boss has this.
Okay.
If one
To wrap this, let's kick.
because of a festival.
No
wow.
interesting there.
There are Natland characters in Fontaine. Is it because of a festival?
Look at
or something?
them.
Not a festival.
Farina
An amusement
spotted.
park organized by Navia and the Spina di Rasula.
Ooh.
Auroron and Aoife are there to deliver Natland produce for the event. But it's not all veggies and good times, unfortunately. Against the backdrop of the festivities, a smuggling case is uncovered, leading Kaniche and Risley to cross paths.
Ooh, a Saurian hunter and a prison warden. Sounds like a fun pairing.
Yeah, right? I actually have a few sneak peeks to share, so let's take a look.
Weird. Why is Ahau cowering behind Kaniche?
I think that's Charlotte.
Too proud of that. Oh, wait. It must be because of Fontaine's ban on flying objects.
Exactly. Ahau and Kakuku made the journey all the way to Fontaine and happened to arrive just in time for the ban. Ahau was able to hide, but Kakuku got scared and flew straight into the Palais Mermonia. Auroron thinks Kakuku will manage to send all of the important documents in the Palais flying around the building.
Do they just like have something against birds?
Can't end well. Well, what about Aoife? Is
Like,
he
there's
going
gotta
to
be
come
like
to
I've.
Cuckoo's rescue?
It's such a
Don't
goofy
worry.
fucking
Nerva elected
thing.
Risley there, Kakuku's in good hands. Plus, he might even learn a new phrase or two. Hey, check
Spoilers.
it out. Risley managed to teach him one. Anyone want to guess what it is?
Oh, I don't really know what it could be. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Anyway,
Can you
I'm going
argue
to
that a
work
how
out-
is legally a
There are two
balloon?
dragons in this picture. So, does that mean Nervalet could, like, interpret for Kakuku? You know, dragon to dragon.
They're different
I can't
dragons.
wait to see how their interactions go.
They're different kinds of
Honestly, I can't even
creatures.
picture it, but I just know it's gonna be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Is there a
There's
magical
nothing
tether
we can say that
between
beats the real thing. So, if you're interested, be sure to check out all the shenanigans
Between
in
Ahau and
there.
Kinich?
Trust me, there are a lot of them. Always makes me laugh. Now, on to the actual amusement park. Let me give you some.
You just sound like a balloon
It's
letting out
called
air.
the
True.
Cheval Film Fantasyland, and it's the brainchild of a.
Wait, how did you
well-known
pronounce
engineer.
that?
It's called the Cheval Moran Film
Cheval Moran. Brush up on your French, my guy.
Fantasyland, and it's the brainchild of a well-known engineer and film buff, with the Spina di Rasula in charge of the financing, construction, and general operations.
Oh, Lapine Pauline is back. Didn't she almost go bankrupt after basing her research on that fake story? I hope her investment pays off this time.
I
Well,
vaguely
if the
remember
traveler
her.
agrees to come on board, Lapine Pauline might be in a better position.
Come on board? Why are my fraud alarm bells ringing?
It's not like that. If you don't trust Lapine Pauline, yeah, okay. Her track record isn't great, but at least trust Cheval Moran and the Spina di Rasula.
Cheval
If you say
Moran.
so.
And how do we make sure we don't run it into the ground?
Well, if the traveler agrees to come on board, Lapine Pauline might be in a better position.
Wait, so this is a management sim? Okay, tell me everything.
You got it, bro. Travelers will be in charge of operations like upgrading the facilities, expanding the park, and managing the staff. During each business cycle,
Okay, I
travelers
fuck
will
with
need to
this.
allocate their precious funds and action points to the most important tasks.
I mean,
based
it's a
on their
Genshin
management.
event, so it's gonna be
And
shallow as
plus,
shit. It's not gonna be
now
like
we're
Roller Coaster
recruiting
Tycoon, but I
Master
do
Chef
still fuck with
Escoffier
this.
To run the park's theme restaurant.
Woo!
The dishes she creates can give you unique management buffs, so don't miss out.
Absolutely. You can also increase your revenue by adding different kinds of attractions. For example, in Eclectic Escapades, visitors can experience unforgettable adventures where they fly through the air or dash underwater at high
Didn't we
speeds.
just do this in HSR? I mean, yeah,
There's
but
movie masterpieces where
Whatever.
you have to use special abilities to reach the end of the stage and seize the treasure. Before launching these attractions, travelers will need to try them out and create a standardized strategy guide for each one, so that visitors understand how to get the most out of the experience.
Nice.
Oh, and travelers can also add an attraction called Mellow Manor, where they can create a cozy retreat for different animals to draw in visitors and increase revenue.
And travelers can also recruit some familiar faces to help run the park. Among the recruits are Fontanian companions and friends from other nations too.
Yeah, that's right. By completing friendly encounters, travelers can learn useful management techniques from their companions. Eventually, these companions will become fixtures at the park and provide even more management support. So, long story short,
Okay.
don't worry too much. You don't have to go it alone.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't sound too bad.
And plus, once you get down to business, you'll be rewarded for your efforts.
Ooh,
HSR 1 didn't
do
really have much
tell.
gameplay though. I mean,
Reach a
that's
certain point in the
par for the
operations
course,
and you'll be able to
honestly.
claim all sorts of
I wouldn't be
rewards,
surprised if this
including
one's
Primo
similar.
Gems and a
If
new
this one is
core
just
star.
kind of
Let's pull.
click stuff and watch number go up.
5.6. Yeah,
Kinich,
Wood
Trade and
Chronicle Wish
Shogun.
Banner will be returning in version
Ooh, Inazuma.
5.6. I know a lot of travelers have been waiting for that.
Inazuma Chronicled Wish? Okay. Wow, easier to remember redemption code. That's crazy. Okay, Windbloom. Let's see what else we got.
The Windbloom Festival, once a celebration of flowers, now shrouded in unease.
This is different. What the fuck is this? Also, again, my internet's just crying. I don't know why. It's funny because I have dropped like 0 frames on network for streaming, but
Festival,
I
once
don't know.
a celebration of flowers, now shrouded in unease.
hello, Dahlia.
Why is Albedo on trial? Who is the young man in the courtroom? And is he friend or foe?
And why is this like a?
What tidings does the Dodo
What is
Communication
happening?
Device bring
What
this
is
summer?
happening? Hi, Alice.
The answers to these
Ooh, it's Alice.
questions and more in the version 5.6 Archon Quest.
Why is this a? Why is it like that? Okay.
Nice voice.
Oh, nice.
Ah, shucks, thanks.
So, we finally make it back to Mondstadt, and Albedo's on trial.
Okay.
And I
There is a thing down there. Greatness created in the moment where miracles met life. Neither mundane knowledge nor earthly compassion could hope to reach that light. The arrogant slither forth from the darkness, hypocrisy draped in virtue and reason. Their gnashing maws devour all, brothers and mothers alike. What the fuck? Okay, so... Alice better tell us shit this time. Somebody needs to tell us shit. Venti, please. Alice, please. Somebody tell us something. So, greatness created in the moment where miracles met life, neither mundane knowledge nor earthly compassion could hope to reach that light. The arrogant slither forth from the darkness, hypocrisy draped in virtue and reason. That sounds like a description of the abyss, right? The arrogant slither forth from the darkness, hypocrisy draped in virtue and reason. So, because, you know, the abyss is very, very much like kind of grandstands everybody. It says, you don't know what we're fighting for, but promise us we're doing the right thing. But they don't. Yeah, so they're draping it in virtue and reason, but it's just underlying hypocrisy, I guess. The gnashing maws devour all brothers and mothers. Like, yeah, no, that's just referring to the abyss.
don't even know what to think. But something tells me there's more to this situation than meets the eye.
Well,
Alfredo.
I've put together some information about the case. Let's go through it and see if we can uncover some new clues. So, here's the deal. Albedo's been accused of murder and unlawful disposal of human remains. And
Good
the
lord.
case is being tried in secret. The logistics captain of the Knights of Favonius, Hertha, seems to have compelling evidence against Albedo. So
It's Alfredo.
the situation is serious.
I'm telling you, it's
sure Hertha is
Alfredo.
just trying to do her job and uncover the truth. But there has to be some kind of misunderstanding here.
It's
Well,
Alfredo.
in court, the evidence does the talking. Travelers will have access to Albedo's office on the second floor of headquarters to do their own investigation into the case and hopefully track down some clues.
So I saw Jean, Kaya, and Eula in the courtroom, all members of the Knights of Favonius, which makes sense. But it looked like someone from the church was also there.
It was Alfredo.
That's Dahlia. He's the deacon of the Church of Favonius, so he works with Barbara, Rosaria, and the other members of the clergy. Dahlia acts as the Herald of Barbados, which is interesting because he's also friends with Venti.
Yeah, very interesting.
Wow,
He
crazy.
sounds like a very important figure then.
Well, speaking of Venti, the Dodo communication device is back in this quest. At some point, Venti needs it to get in touch with Alice. But on the first attempt, the line connects to Grandmaster Varka instead. It's only on the second try that he manages to reach Alice.
Whoa.
What reason do you have to talk to Alice, Mr. Venti? This is interesting. This is real interesting.
Oh, hold on. You just dropped two major names. Varka has been on an expedition for a long time. Sounds like we finally get to hear how he's doing. As for Alice, we know she's the mother of the most adorable Klee and an elder of the Hexen Circle. But I wonder why Venti needs to get in touch with
Great question. Also, chess.
Wait,
Chess
could it
theory.
be because of the monsters in the city?
Oh, you know what? In Amber's anthology chapter, she did say the number of monsters around Mondstadt has been skyrocketing lately.
Right? And now there are even more monsters in the city. So maybe Venti is reaching out to Alice for help.
I mean, the Girl Boss Club is very much a Mondstadt thing. I mean,
And
true.
If we take a look at this map,
But like, why
we can
the...
see that a lot of our old friends have joined in on the fight to defend Mondstadt. We can see.
Ooh, okay,
that a
so
lot
we've got Barbara, Rosaria, Mona, and Jean are doing stuff. Okay, some question mark characters. We got Fish, Diana. So these are the people that are guarding the front. Eula, I'm assuming is guarding the side station. Now that I actually think about it, the Mondstadt is a pretty defensible city because you've got one entrance here, and then you got the side entrance here for the docks, and those are the two entrances into the city. You've got lots of but then the main headquarters of the Knights of Favonius and the church are at the back of the city, so it's actually, if you do like try and siege this wall, you're met with a lot more defensible positions before you actually get to the headquarters. Crazy. I'm just now realizing how like defensible Mondstadt is.
of our old friends have joined in on the fight to defend Mondstadt.
Wow, this is kind of emotional. Mondstadt was the beginning of everything.
And it'll
It's
be the
place where
end of
travelers
everything,
met their first
bitches.
companions and embarked on this whole journey. And now it's in crisis. Oh, hopefully travelers can do something to stop it.
Oh, they can, but it won't be an easy road. Alice can offer something to help, but travelers will need to pass
The
a
game
trial
before
first
the gate.
and defeat the king and queen on the chessboard.
Anything to defend Mondstadt. I'm sure travelers aren't scared of a little trial.
Okay. Then let's take a look at what awaits them.
Why? Okay. Why? Like, Alice, why? My question is, why are you doing this? We have proven stuff multiple times. We've taken your daughter on vacation. We have babysitted your daughter. Can we like skip this part? Very Ramiria coded. The queen just has a fucking Gatling gun? Okay. And the king should have a big fuck off claymore rail chest. True, actually. And it like shoots fire and shit.
Alice will preside over the first phase of the trial.
I do love her
the
little like
trial takes place on a chessboard.
puffball
but the rules of chess
avatar
don't
thingy.
exactly apply. Look closely and you'll notice some of the
The
pieces on the board
rook!
can harm
Anyways,
the
sorry.
king. Travelers can use that to their advantage to create an opening and dish out damage. But in the second phase, there are no chess pieces to use. Travelers will need to rely on their own strength to emerge victorious.
It looks like there's a different Dodoko presiding over the second phase. One wearing a blue hat.
I love the little
Is that a
Dodoko
different mage
thingies.
from
It's
the
so
Hexen
cute.
Circle?
Ooh, I wonder which one.
Well, travelers will have to uncover that for themselves. As for the second phase of the trial, let me offer a quick piece of advice. The boss has some extremely powerful
All right, thank you for
attacks,
popping in, Ryo.
but freeze reactions can help.
Have a good
you
rest of your
create
day.
an Opening.
Maybe jot that one down for later, travelers.
Alice is the chaotic
We know there's
aunt.
murder, an attack on Mondstadt. a
Well, of course
Hexen
she
Circle
is. Have you
trial.
met her
But
daughter?
we have no idea how all of this is connected. Seems like there's a lot for travelers to uncover. You know, if you think about it, first Natlan had a crisis with the ley lines that almost ended in death. Then, a similar crisis happened in Liyue, and now Mondstadt is in danger. I can't help but wonder if this is all some kind of terrible omen.
The Rook.
Yeah, but look on the bright side. It's another chance for answers.
Shit's getting
Maybe
real.
we'll uncover new clues
Maybe.
about forces we've encountered before, or what we can expect on the road ahead.
Or maybe we'll even get one step closer to the truth of Tavat.
Yeah, and then travelers can give us all the answers.
Please. Please, please,
Yeah.
please. I
think we're
want
gonna leave all that
answers,
hard
bitch.
work to you guys.
All right, okay. Well, let's lighten things up and dive into the remaining version 5.6.
This has
event.
gotta be like, this has
First
gotta be a
up on the
good.
docket
I
is an
swear, if
event
it's
that
I
brings
swear
us
if this is
back
like a
to
nothing
Fontaine,
burger, I'm
where
gonna just
travelers
lose
can
all hope
test
in this
out their
game.
Tactical brilliance in the new war game, Operation Downpour Simulation.
War game.
Dude, nice.
Oh, I know. This war game comes with all new offensive and defensive gameplay. The key to success is really understanding your game pieces.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, for example, is it a melee or ranged attack piece? Can it quickly break through?
That seems kinda neat, actually.
Through your defenses, your job is to use your
Tactical travelers.
10. Players will have the opportunity to indwell Saurians at certain points. Use their abilities to your advantage, and you might be Saurian forces to
PvP?
secure.
Maybe there's a character you want to learn more.
Nice.
To take
General combat stuff, Genius Invocation.
So, in the version
Oh, I like how they give like a little calendar now.
optimize character turn order. So,
Okay.
in the version 5.6 update, the dev team has made the Brilliant Blessing details page a lot more intuitive.
when you go to raise a character's skills, the skill descriptions can be pretty long and dense.
Map pins,
I mean, it's
treasure
understandable.
compass.
Secrets.
Cool. What is this? Hymona? Oh, merch. Got it. Well, that's pretty. Monotheme merch kind of fucks.
So,
All here,
I can't wait.
and by a side.
well, funds.
Song of the Welcome Moon. Stay tuned on April 30th. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I'm very intrigued. Very intrigued. Like, I don't... They're not giving me a lot to dig my little grubby paws into. I don't... Like, at least in the trailer. It's just kind of a... Okay, I'm kind of nervous about this, to be completely honest. Because either this is like big and huge and it gives us all like a bunch of lore and answers and shit, or they just kind of scoot shit off again for what? Because like I can't imagine they do that, but I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith in this game for actually giving a shit, but I am at least happy to be returning to Mondstadt. I think that's always really exciting. It's just sometimes I wonder, like I'm like the trailer. I think the trailer not having a lot to pull on is good because they're keeping a lot to their chests, and the fact that it is involving Venti in a big way tells me that there's a lot that we're gonna have to learn, that we're gonna end up learning, but. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still a little nervous, a little skeptical. Looking forward to the Mondstadt quest. We need answers. Is Sus Albedo really dead, or is it during a thing? I think I'm convinced. Like right now in my head, it's got to be Alfredo, right? I don't think Alfredo's dead. I think it's still that dipshit doing stuff. I think I would have to brush up on the events of that event, because I actually kind of forget what all happened with Alfredo and like whatever. Wasn't it implied that he's still alive? at the end of that quest or something. It wasn't like I forget if he was a creation of Albeit or like of Durian or something. I forget what that whole event was, but I'm very curious into that. It's huge because of they're giving little in the trailer or really yeah, exactly. Like it's they could just be keeping as much to their chest as they can, or yeah, they could be keeping as much to their chest as they can, or the trailer doesn't have much because there is nothing in the quest. Although I don't expect them to go and say, "Yo, this trailer." I did see Rika mention in the Discord that I do recall Rika mentioning in the Discord that the trailer is a or the chapter is a one word, and that's never happened before, which is suspicious. It's just called Paralogism. There really hasn't been a one word Archon quest or Archon quest before, so it is a little suspicious on that front, but like, yeah, I don't know. I'm suspicious. I guess nervous. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna swap to HSR though. Give me a moment. But I am still excited just to go back to Mondstadt in the very least, right? Again, like Emily Cass said, I think that's her name, Escoffier's VA. You know, this is where it all started. It's been almost 5 years. Good fucking lord. Since I started playing this game, and you know, like it'll be exciting to go back and talk to like get an event with, or get a quest with those characters that we started the game with. Especially now that we just know so much more, and that we've done so much, and we have so much more context about Teyvat and the story and everything in general. Like getting to go back to an Archon quest too. Like we've had events before, but Archon quest where there's like all the whimsy is kind of gone. Like it'll be really interesting to return to those folks for a permanent, entirely canonical interaction with them. Like it'll be very, very curious to see that happen for the first time in so long. Like I entirely forget when the last time we actually saw them was. And Laura's like trying to. Ooh. Why? Hello? Where did I download Live Split last time? There we are. Genshin lore is like trying to piece together our Kingdom Hearts lore, who or what came first doing what. Yeah, no, it really is. It's just so much. Although I will say Kingdom Hearts is a different kind of difficulty because a lot of the stuff, for the most part, is seen in game, whereas all the Genshin lore just all over the place. Okay, I need to actually double check. Where did we leave the timer? Your channel lives. We ended on 3:14:32. 14:32:20. Okay, we get back into it. Get back into the quest. So let's see what we've got. Star Rail World. I haven't actually even done that. Nor have I done Seal Slammers. No. No rewards? Really? No way. Oh yeah, okay. I got the March letter. Okay. So to my dearest Trailblaze companion and the one who saved my life, and my photographer, and my best classmate. I still remember when you warped for the first time. You were lying on the sofa and you stretched out your hands as if you wanted to grasp something. You looked like you couldn't quite believe what was going to happen, but still really looked forward to it. So, did you find the star you were looking for? I felt like hardly any time had passed, and it's already been 2 years. I almost can't remember how life used to be before you boarded the Express, but that's fine. Now that you're here to be my fellow troublemaker, let's make more wonderful memories together in the years to come. Well, I mean, I would love to, but you're currently in a coma, so I'm sorry. I would love to be a gremlin with you, but you know, you're kind of in a coma right now. It's kind of an issue, and we're trying to fix it. However, can't really do a whole lot about it. Let's see. You. There's a new Pure Fiction, I think? No, there's a new Apocalyptic Shadow that I need to touch at some point. Okay. So, let us do the daily stuff. Get this stuff out of the way. Yeah, Herda and Black Swan are on the case. So they're trying to fix this shit. We'll deal with it at some point. Legacy funds, thank you. Okay. Let's get back into this bullshit. I need to switch POV. Start the timer. Look, I have to go away. Why didn't this save? Yeah, there we go. We're back in it, boys. We're back in it, gang. Okay, let me move you to the extra down the bottom. There we go. That's better. Okay, now we continue. So where do we even leave off? I think we're here with Hyacine, right? Don Hung is here with Hyacine, investigating stuff. I think vaguely. I don't actually entirely. It's been a little bit. It's been a minute. That's literally all I remember. Black monsters are twisted. Oh yeah, they're investigating why, what happened here in the first place. Is there monster energy for it? Of course you do. Black monsters are twisted in form and their life has turned to ash together with their souls. It's impossible to figure out their form when they were still alive. Unfortunately, it's warm. Get some like ice or something. These are the remains of the black tide monster. It does look different from the Titankin from up close. What's that underneath it? A scroll? A recorded debate between venerationists and Nusporus scholars. Most of it is illegible, leaving only fragments of dialogue. We recall that state that dared touch... Wait. We recall that state that dared touch the sky, but what were they really? Just blind masses manipulated by ambitious politicians who dared challenge the Titan's authority. A completely meaningless attempt, an absolute mistake. You venerationists have bowed to the Titans for so long, you've forgotten a scholar's true purpose. Making a mistake does not mean the act was meaningless. Even those students new to the Grove understand this from basic logic lessons. An entire city-state reduced to ashes proved the skyship's construction was a mistake. To me, that's precisely the meaning they achieved through sacrifice. Am I hearing this right? Such a statement, are you converting to venerationism? No, I'm simply examining the matter from another perspective. As I expected, the Grove doesn't forbid discussions about the sky. It's a debate between two scholars about the sky ships. Aglaia also made mention of the ships when she interrogated us, a memory I'd rather forget. I'll hold on to this for now. With any luck, this journey won't leave us empty-handed. Okay. Oh, hi, Hyacinth. This is a dangerous area. That's a Hyacinth? Why is she surrounded by so many monsters? As much faith as I have in her, it's probably a good idea to help her out there.
Really now? This is way more trouble than I could have asked for.
Need a hand?
Or you could sit back and watch.
I can't tell if you're serious or not. Being hard to read isn't without its perks, I suppose.
I'm kidding, Danny. Lend me a hand, pretty please. All right, now let's get him.
Let's go. Let's fuck shit up. Okay. Ma'am.
Never seen perfection. Expand your thinking.
Bonk. Okay.
Bloom.
Pretty good crowd today. Keep up.
I don't have time for games. Open sesame.
Ready to lose your... You can fight it or rock with it.
Let's settle this.
Oh, just barely enough for the bonk. Yes. Yes. You do hurt quite a lot. Ow. Oh yeah, I have casters. I forgot about that.
Never seen perfection before. Expand your
I forgot that's a thing. It's the fucking casters we have.
Nothing but a boy.
This place is practically in ruins. What happened? There shouldn't be this many monsters here.
The black tide is remarkably quick to detect the light of Amphorius. So or rather, the blessings of the Sky Priest in me, might have unknowingly called them to me.
Whoops.
Anyway, never mind that for now. Here, you might want to have a look at this. I found it around here and thought it might be of interest to you.
Scholar's Base 2, okay. Euthyphro or Euthyphro is a real philosopher. I know there is. Oh, what is Euthyphro? Oh, Euthyphro is a book by Plato. Oh, no. Okay, so I know Euthyphro, the idea of Euthyphro, because there is a... Oh, fuck. Okay, so there is a thought experiment that was pitched by... Oh, what's her fucking name? I want to say Diana Ritchie? I think I forget her first name, but I know her last name's Ritchie. Wherein Euthyphro is talking to Plato, or not Plato. I forget what the specifics are. One of the characters in this thought experiment is Euthyphro, and the idea is Euthyphro is asked to define what a sandwich is, and with each different definition that Euthyphro gives, Socrates shoots back with a counterexample of something that would theoretically be considered a sandwich within Euthyphro's definition, but is very much not a sandwich. It's literally sandwich discourse. It's really interesting, but it's still I need to find the details of it. Hold on. Yeah, it is Euthyphro and Socrates. Yeah. Okay. So Euthyphro is like an actual thing that exists. Okay, this is gonna drive me nuts. Hold on. Here, shot, guy, brush, wood.
Oh, the adventure.
Do. Mary Ritchie.
Demonstrating the Socratic. 2014, professor and lecturer Dr. Mariana Ritchie.
That's her name. Mariana Ritchie. Yeah, sorry. I'm going on a random deep dive. Anyways, I'll have to look that up because that sounds like someone just egging you on to make you mad to prove something wrong. So the idea, the point of the argument was to demonstrate how fuzzy definitions can be, and how hard it is to define something, because the idea is there it is. I found the article. Fuck yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna post the article in in chat here. But so the idea of the argument is the definition of a sandwich is very fuzzy because it's more of a cultural thing than it is a thing that can be defined with hard terms, right? So the point is that for things like a sandwich, you can define it with as much granular detail in like legalistic language as physically possible. But no matter how detailed you get, you can probably come up with a counterexample that doesn't quite fit that definition because of how fuzzy the idea of a sandwich is. So, yeah. I personally love it. It's a very good thought experiment when you apply it to things like genre. You know, what is, yeah, really fuzzy cultural things. What is art? Stuff like that. Yeah, that kind of idea, Chrissy, exactly. Is a building is anything that anyone has built, so my shoes are a building. Exactly. So it's one of my favorite like philosophical spaces to chill in, because like it's that it's like the idea of the Sorites paradox, like where the definition of a thing really falls apart when you try and get into it, right? And how fuzzy just our words for things are. It's like if you have a heap of sand and you take one grain of sand away, it's still a heap. But if you keep taking grains of sand away, you'll have nothing left by the end of it. At what point did it stop becoming a heap of sand? Same idea, right? It's that a lot of the terms we have for things, unless we have like scientific, like binary, it is or it isn't, by a very strict set of criteria, it's going to be fuzzy. It's going to be very hard to define what a thing is. That's just kind of a part of our human experience, is we don't really understand the defining characteristics of certain things, just that we kind of intuit it, right? Like we don't have to know the specific definition of a sandwich to look at a sandwich and say, that's a sandwich. Some things border the definition. That's why sandwich discourse exists. But the existence of something is like a part of being a human is looking at a sandwich and saying, that's a sandwich, move on with my day. And just because that's how we function, right? Is we make those assumptions. We have those like instinctual identification of a thing without having to know the exact definition of what those are. Anyways, that's what I know Euthyphro from. But Euthyphro in Socrates is a much deeper philosophical cut about deities in theology. But yeah. So, well then, enlighten me. What exactly do you mean by examining from another perspective? Simple, you see. When we stand normally, the sky is above. When we stand on our heads, it's below our feet. I don't even want to know what kind of situation inspired you to make such an exalted theories. By the way, I have a student who loves to write satirical comedies and once wrote about a fool who could not figure out a question no matter what. As I said, there is no reasoning with you venerationists. You're like the dromasses, huge yet always gazing downward at the earth, while I want to be the wasp that stings the dromass. What if that state tyrant's defeat simply proved that among all past Aquila, the skyship was the wrong one? Anaxagoras, you impious blasphemer, mark my words, you will eventually answer for your sacrilege. I doubt your students, or that young teaching assistant girl, have any idea what secret research you're truly conducting. Anaxagoras, he's the scholar who fused himself with the core flame of reason.
This is new. I didn't know Professor Anaxa was researching the sky. He's never mentioned anything about it.
Finance said Anaxa might be opposed to the flame chase journey.
Might is an understatement. Anaxa
has never been one to venerate the gods, nor has he ever found it within himself to put any faith in the prophecy. People have come to think of him as a heretic, even in a place as liberal as the Grove. Yet, it is also this very blasphemer that Circe's favors. Fate sure works in mysterious ways.
Picked up a scroll on my way here. It looks like it might be related to the one you're holding.
Oh? Let me have a look.
Heising combines both records together.
By the looks of them, these scrolls are records of two conversations that took place in the same setting, one after the other.
There's still much I don't know about the Grove. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Sure, go ahead.
So who are the
The
Venerationists?
Grove of Epiphany is home to 7 schools of thought. While all 7 schools are founded on the ideologies of Thalesis, the first scholar, each is unique in its own way. Among them, the Venerationists revere and worship the Titans the most.
Okay.
As the sage of the Venerationists, Euthyphro has always been at loggerheads with Anaxa. If we were to place the 7 sages on the scales of Talanton, Anaxa and Euthyphro would be placed on opposite sides to achieve balance.
Very illustrative explanation. Thank you. Was it a mistake to build the
Nearly
skyships?
everyone in Amphorius has heard the story of the skyships by now. Aquila's stature is loftier than the heavens, and their divine retribution is merciless. That's why it's no use building giant skyfaring ships. Oh, but I do wonder if a supercharged mini Trevi cannon could slip past their watch.
That was a joke, right? What is Anaxa's field of study?
Newsporists primarily study the application of alchemy in soul repair.
Okay.
Everyone considers Anaxa a blasphemer, but that has never stopped him from sharing his ideas, no matter how taboo. If you must say that he's hiding something, then it's likely what lies beneath his eye patch.
Well, we knew that much. You're not very helpful, but I mean, the Venerationists being, yeah. So okay, so back on the Euthyphro thing. So Euthyphro, it was a Plato thing. Yeah, Plato wrote a dialogue called Euthyphro, in which Socrates asks Euthyphro, "Is the pious those who are like?" Those who are faithful to the gods, are those that are faithful to the gods loved by the gods because they are pious, or are they pious because they are loved by the gods? So yeah, it's just more about the nature of piety, which it makes sense that the head of the Venerationists be Venerationists because they venerate to the god. That makes so much sense. Yeah, the head of the Venerationists is a reference to this dilemma because this dilemma is all about theology and yeah, whatever. So that's what the actual reference is. It's not about sandwiches. It's not actually a reference to sandwiches.
Anaxa often says that every failure brings us one step closer to the truth. Perhaps to him, the crash of the skyship carries a different interpretation. The firmament is not impenetrable. On the contrary, it was precisely because the skyship represented the first step toward breaking free from the shackles of the earth that it provoked the wrath of the Sky Titan and brought divine punishment upon itself. It's a shame that the majority
So
of the
Genshin coded.
Grove's research on Aquila was headed by the Venerationists, with sacrificial rituals making up a predominant part of their findings. Discourse about more esoteric subject matters in relation to Aquila dwindled even further after the skyship incident. So much so that even this scroll is completely new to me.
Don't worry about it. We'll just collect everything we can find on the Titans for now. There's something else that caught my attention, though. It says that Anaxa is conducting secret experiments of some sort.
That's what I'd like to know. What are these experiments he's involved in? Even I, the assistant lecturer, know next to nothing about them. I have a bad feeling about this. Could there be more to what happened at the Grove?
Interesting. Interesting. Give me a second. Second something. Yeah, back to it. Well, that's new.
This is the Library of Philia, a place where the Grove stores its collection of tomes. Other than books written by the 7 schools, you can also find philosophical texts, ballads, and religious writings from the Outlands here. Cities that desire to learn from the Grove were apparently expected to contribute knowledge of equal value to what they sought.
It's literally just the library from Avatar. One of my favorite episodes of the entire show.
We've had more than our fair share of
Just missing one giant
episodes over
owl
the
spirit.
years. For instance, it's said that the Erythrocheramists once borrowed a manuscript from a certain author, but ended up returning a copy instead of the original. What's more, the original manuscript was supposedly then hidden here.
That doesn't seem like a nice thing to do.
Nice? No need to hold yourself back, Danny. You can just tell it like it is. Their behavior was no different from bandits.
Imagine just stealing a fucking original copy of a really important philosophical text. That's crazy. Well, if you don't mind, did the Grove ever rob Castrum Kremnos?
Whew. You've got me there. Some said you couldn't even find a dictionary in Castrum Kremnos, so I guess they were spared. There are too many books in the Library of Philia. Flipping through them all will take too long.
Because
Why don't we use the Biblioslate to search for the texts we need? We can bring them back to Akama for reading after that.
I mean, it would make sense because Castrum Kremnos is mostly, from what we understand, they're mostly verbal tradition. I agree, this place isn't safe. We should leave as soon as we're done. There are still several more scrolls strewn all over the place. I'll gather them while you pull up those texts this way. Nothing will be overlooked. Which it is kind of interesting how they everyone kind of treats them as dumb and stupid for having an oral tradition, even though every culture has had an oral tradition, even after the invention of writing. So it's kind of very like, I'm just gonna straight up call it racism. These are complaint letters from the scholars about Anaxagoras, the blasphemer. There's a thick stack of letters. Based on the dust accumulated in the perfectly intact seals, the complainee did not even bother opening them, just chucked them aside into a corner. when you're tenured. This is about Anaxa? I should read this. Hi, Scene, you should come have a look too.
in here. Whoa. Are these all complaints about him?
Gotta love some tenured professors. Actually, I need to change. HSR 2 quest 82. HSR rail. Change. Move. There we go.
I can already see what they must have written. Anaxa has no respect for the gods. His very existence undermines order in our society. They're probably all things like that.
I love old scholarly beef. Because like they would just over exaggerate shit. So like in real life, there are multiple points in time where somebody would come up with like a yeah, so somebody would come up with like a new proof or like a new concept in math, and like some other critics would call them like like a threat to the kids or whatever. Like scholars used to be just so fucking dramatic. Does Anaxa hold that much influence?
Why else would they call him the great performer? When Anaxa established his school of thought, the first thing he apparently did was read his own work to everyone.
I mean, I like the confidence, I guess.
Are the Titans truly an accurate reflection of what humans think gods should be? Worlds created by gods are indubitably perfect, but what of Amphorius? Only foolishness and insensitivity everywhere you turn.
Old scholars are just ancient Twitter. So I know they would write these things in like actual papers or like reviews, and it's just so funny that they would say like, oh, the idea that there are some infinities bigger than others is like a threat to the youth. I'm like, dude, nobody cares. Like, who cares if there are multiple infinities? Like, Cantor just had a cool idea, and now you're overreacting. Most kids now will only care about up to calculus. Like, you don't need to overdo it. Yeah, the Veritas, exactly. Like, like, come on, chill out on Cantor. The man already had the problems that he did.
Though what he took on in the end was more of a debate than an actual trial. He had to address every one of the scholar's allegations, or face expulsion from the Grove.
But like similar things were thrown at Girdle. I know there are a lot of stories about physicists coming up with ideas that were like dismissed and just heavily insulted. Like, scientists used to have some of just the most like creative beef for people just saying things that they didn't like. Like, come on.
The first allegation was, do you agree that since the Titans created the heavens and earth, so the mountains, rivers, and seas must likewise be their creations?
Am I supposed to put myself in Anaxa's shoes and answer that? Yes. As told in the myths, the seas, the skies, and the earth are all beyond the shadow of the doubt creations of the Titans.
Anaxa would have probably been spared a lot of trouble if he had answered this way. Instead, he quoted past instances of the Flame Chase journey and posited that humans have the potential to take over the divinity of Titans.
Okay.
Needless to say, his critics didn't take kindly to his answer, so they followed up with a second allegation. You claim to be studying souls, yet you are, in fact, defiling them and committing acts condemned by the gods. Do you admit it?
That's a serious allegation. Did he really do that?
Anaxa always wears an eye patch, never removing it, even when alone. Some say he used one of his eyes as an alchemical ingredient. Every being in the world owes their safekeeping to Kithily, and this is even more so for the Chrysos heirs who have divine blood coursing through them. If he has really done something of that nature, then it'd indeed be sacrilegious.
But like, his body, his choice, I guess? Like,
Luckily, they had no way to prove it, so it amounted to nothing more than an allegation in the end. One by one, Anaxa engaged in wars of words against those who would challenge him. Toward the end, a scholar asked him, "Anaxagoras, have you any respect for the gods?" It was only after a brief silence that he answered, "I have never denied that titans are meant to be noble constructs."
what he didn't say, the Titans are not noble, rings louder in this case.
Yes. I'm not sure how that controversy was eventually resolved. But what's for certain, at least, is that Anaxa was allowed to stay in the grove where he continued his research, despite being regarded as a heretic.
Those damn tenured professors.
By the way, this stack of complaint letters has reminded me of a place in the grove. We may find clues there that aren't on the teleslate. I'm talking about Anaxa's alchemy lab, hidden between the cornerstones.
Ooh. Given the Grove's meticulous approach to archiving, could there really be such an oversight right under their noses?
It's a well-kept secret. Among the 7 sages, excluding the nominal chief sage, each has a private sanctuary where they can conduct research undisturbed in their free time.
Honestly, that would be dope. Like, imagine, I would find it so cool if, like, on my college campus, there were just, like, secret labs for some of the professors. Like, only they could go there every now and then. Like, I would find it so funny if, like, my operating systems professor had, like, a secret lab in the computer science building that was just, like, only he could find. I was like, that. I mean, that's such a cool energy.
Even the administrators of the Library of Philia are restricted from accessing those places and documenting the sage's research. But with the grove in this state, I'm sure Anaxa won't be mad even if we sneak into the lab.
I'm sure. Well, yeah. I'm sure he won't be mad that we're gonna snoop through his things. The crying corner. Hey, it's the professors. The professors aren't the ones that are gonna be crying. It's gonna be their TAs. Hello? Oh. How does this work? Oh, you have to actually, like, step away. Hello? Why didn't you let me get on? Excuse me? Okay. I'm just gonna give it a bit. Kirkle. Follow water wheel. Come on. There we go. I don't know why that was weird. Okay. Let's go to the secret laboratory.
This is the place, but where is everything?
You have a great tendency to break games.
Materials for
I
alchemical
really
experiments,
don't, to be completely
matrix
honest.
diagrams, and even the seal to the lab. They're all all gone.
I've never,
glad
like,
to
not,
destroy
never
it
before.
all.
I'm very, I mean, I guess sometimes I do. If I'm bored, I don't actually really come across bugs very often when I play games, just like
No,
casually.
Not even close. Not only
I
are
will
alchemy
occasionally come
experiments
across stuff if I'm
high-risk
looking for
activities,
it, if I'm like fucking
but
around
Professor
intentionally.
Naxer also has a penchant for using bizarre materials. Students often saw him walk in looking right as rain, but come out covered in soap with his hair singed. Naturally, no one dared to come near this place. Huh? That bookshelf over there seems to be the only
Wow,
thing still
I wonder
intact.
what this is. Must this be an important object? These are the materials requested by an Exagoras. Documents from various fields have been compiled in one place, including Titan's creations, the universality of souls, alchemy doctrine, and so on. Okay. Most of the materials look to be within the research domain of the New Spore School of Thought. However, a document titled A Study on the Chrysos Heir's Background is mixed within. He's doing a little bit of stalking. These appear to be quick notes examining the background of Chrysos Heirs. The Holy Maiden of Yanisopolis, Tribi, Trian, and Trinan, descendants of the Holy Maiden of the Temple of the Three Fates. Gold Weaver Aglaya of Akuma from the Mnestia priestly family. The Prince of Castrum Kremenos, Hyacine of the Twilight Courtyard, all of their ancestry have varying degrees of connection with their divine titans or their divine authorities. Does the golden blood come from the heritage of priest families or royal bloodlines? In Exagoras, I myself show no such connection. Kephali, the creator, what criteria did they use to create the golden blood to shape the Chrysos Heir? Yet Casterus, the servant of death from Idonia, her lineage is neither Titan priest nor demigod, but she has walked the earth for at least a millennium with the power to grant death to humans. Where did this power come from? Another text speaks of the dragon legend of Styxia. The alchemical extraction of soul ripped from dragon corpses is intriguing. Dragons appear to be the Titan's creations. Perhaps there's a way to reverse the process, using alchemy to refuse human souls with Titan creations, increasing the purity and divinity of golden blood towards the absolute. This theory must be tested, experiments to be arranged. Here's an idea. If we're talking about this all, ooh, okay. If we're talking about this being a parallel to Genshin, what if an Exagora and the Grove is a parallel to Conria, and this was all destroyed because of the experiments an Exagoras was doing? They got a little bit too close to the truth.
What's going on? Anaxa is conducting research on our friends in Akuma and me?
This journal contains several intriguing points. Cause like, everything in the lab has been destroyed, and the Grove was attacked before Anaxa could actually conduct experiments on the ideas of souls. This feels like a very, very core, like a very big revelation if he was able to figure something out. Of like what makes a Chrysos Heir, what makes divinity, that kind of thing. That feels like something Connery would have been trying to figure out right before it was completely wiped off the map. Maybe, possibly. Creations of Titans. From the Abyss of Fate to Castrum Kemnos, I've seen many a Titan creation during my time in Amphorius. Life forms created by Circes can also be found in the Grove. But fusing them with human souls through alchemical means? I can't even begin to imagine. Anaxa seems to hold special interest in the divinity coursing through the Chrysos heir's veins and has even conducted a thorough investigation into the hero's backgrounds. There's a pattern, but it's not a strict pattern. I think that's definitely throwing him off. Is he's kind of a Chrysos heir, but not really a Chrysos heir. But then, even without him, he has casters to break the pattern. So
It wouldn't have been so strange if it focused only on Cassie, given her own curiosity about her origins. Plus, considering that new sporists have crafted omnipotent medicines capable of curing diseases, it also makes sense that he would conduct research on immortal Chrysos heirs. But now, it seems Anax's objective was never to create medicine, but to identify the origin of the golden blood and figure out its inner workings.
through alchemy, Anaxa aims to refine the golden blood in Chrysos heirs to a degree of purity equal to divinity. She sounds familiar. I think she's actually a rather obscure VA, right? It's I know Phantom found her VA. Where was it? Holly Earl. Yes, that's her name. Because I remember being so fascinated in where she comes from. Or what her, She was in Loving Vincent? No fucking way. Oh, she's a genuine ass screen actor. What the fuck? Okay. So she was... Oh, no, I know exactly why you know her, Quinn. She voiced Lilia in Legends of Runeterra. She was also in Doctor Who. She is actually all over the place. What the fuck? Where did she appear? Yeah, she was a minor character in Doctor Who though. Yeah, no, she's just straight up Lilia. That I'm surprised I had not put that together. She's just straight up the voice of Lilia. Sleepy time. Yeah, she's all over the place. I do love Lilia. I really, really love Lilia. I think she's such a funny voice. Yeah, she was Lilia. She was La Musma in Loving Vincent, which is crazy to me, because that film is incredible. She was in Humans and Erica. Yeah, interesting.
Danny, look at this. I have a bad feeling about this.
The previous approach has flaws. Fusing human souls with Titan creations does not purify golden blood. Even pure Titan creations are contaminants to the Chrysos heir's golden blood. Soul fusion between humans and creations merely repairs impurities of the soul or maintains a connection to dying souls. While creation myths tell us the Chrysos heirs and other creations were all made by Titans, their nature differs fundamentally. The Titan's creations are no intermediate product of an alchemical process, and the Chrysos heirs are closer to the Titans than the creations. In other words, I should not have considered Titan creations equal to Chrysos heirs. The hypothesis I should focus on is one pointed towards the Titans themselves. She's about to hit the, he's right behind me, yeah. Such rare chances to study Titans demands a meticulous selection of research subjects. Living Titans prove impossible to restrain, and dead Titans offer no insight worth pursuing. But dying Titans, they are the perfect research subjects. Only by understanding the fundamentals of creation can we ensure perfection at the moment of everything's birth. Through my own hands, I will melt a Titan and reach the true essence of the soul. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so... Okay, I'm kind of confused now. So, I'm trying to sort this out in my head. I need to draw this. Paint. Okay, so from what I'm reading here, right? From what I'm interpreting, their nature differs fundamentally. The Titans' creations are no intermediate products of an alchemical process, and the Chrysos heirs are closer to the Titans than the creations. Okay, so we have Titans here, right? What I'm hearing is what I'm hearing here is there is initially Anaxa was thinking that there was like an intermediate process before you had the creations. Right, there's something here, but instead, it's literally just this. Literally just this. The Titans, immediately, there's like nothing. It's just straight up, Titans make the creations. But this does not include the heirs. Are not included in the creations. There's something different, but they are closer to the Titans than they are creations. So they kind of float outside of this like system. Because we do know that the heirs, like, the conclusion that we came to last stream was the heirs exist to replace the Titans on every cycle, right? Because we're in a samsara, we are doing things, but this also confirms that heirs are not regular creations of Titans. They somehow either are like a special creation of Titans. Like Titans create two groups of stuff, their regular creations and the heirs, or the Titans have no tie to the heirs for some reason, and instead the Chrysos heirs are like inserted by a third party. I guess, am I overthinking this? Because like to me, I should not have considered Titan creations equal to the Christ of Theirs, right? So this to me confirms this aspect. You have the creations, you have the heirs. I'm in set theory mode. I don't like that, but you know, I have to take fucking algorithms. The heirs are not included in the creations. So then that means that they're not made by the Titans. But then who made them? Descenders? Are they Descenders? Possibly? Yeah, anyways.
My biggest fear. It's come true. After going through his notes, I think I can piece it all together now. Anaxa was carrying out experiments on soul transmutation.
Do you mean he's trying to reconstruct human souls alchemically? It's literally gold. It's Rhine Daughter. No way. Literally just Rhine Daughter.
Yes, this is what he was secretly conducting research on. Something he had to keep hidden from others. Compared to his public speeches, this is the real blasphemy. Oh, I just thought of something.
What's wrong?
Do you remember when the Black Tide was approaching? The Grove had planned to send Cersei's core flame to a safe place. But an accident happened along the way, and Anaxa lost his life in the process?
Yeah, and then he got revived by Cersei's. But Cersei's took over his body and resurrected him, which led to the situation we are in now.
That's right. But what if Professor Anaxa's fusion with the core flame of reason wasn't an accident?
He intentionally offed himself just so he could like, I wonder if this will work.
Put yourself in his shoes. Knowing that the Black Tide was closing in and your time was running out, what would you have done?
Straight up, he did that? No way. Put my theories to the test, no matter the cost.
Exactly. When the Black Tide came, the true reason Anaxa headed to the Luminary Throne was to transmute and fuse himself with the Titan's core flame.
Not exactly. Rhine Daughter was trying to create the perfect human, while Anaxa is using alchemy to prove a point. But it's similar, right? In that Rhine Daughter was trying to use alchemy to infringe on the domain of the gods. And I mean, yes, Anaxa's reasoning behind it was more to prove a point than to do something like that, but I like the reasoning behind it is different, but the result is largely the same. Anaxa isn't really creating anything.
No. Judging from how he reacted
true.
after the event, the results came as a surprise. Maybe he failed to
reconstruct human souls alchemically, not create human soul. Okay, true. Reconstruct human souls. So his goal is to create divinity, like a divine human soul alchemically.
The manuscripts detailing all the alchemical formulae have been taken away. His research is still ongoing.
Time to confront the dude. Yo, Anaxa, the fuck is up? I wouldn't say it's the same. It comes from a POV of trying to disprove the basis of the universe. I wonder if Okay, maybe it's not gold, but it's still no, because gold was the reason why Conrad got fucked. Because like I'm still trying to like imagine the parallel between this and possibly Conria, just in the like it feels too. Yeah, I don't know. Well, they're still trying to answer something ordained by the god. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking is. Either way, the answer the answer that both people are trying to get at is something that kind of undermines everybody's understanding of their world in a way that is destructive of the power structure that the divinity has over the people, right? Like, whatever Gold was doing was going to undermine the Archon's authority over the people, and then whatever Anaxa's doing is probably is like undermining the power of the Titans, because he's possibly gonna be able to just make a fucking Titan, right? It's weird. But also, okay, no, the Conria parallels don't actually carry, because in this situation, it would have been it's the Black Tide that destroyed the Grove, and not the Titans themselves. Different things, but there's still a parallel there that I think there's a parallel there.
Like, what? There's only one Titan left in the world now.
I mean, a godless nation is what Conria was.
No. No way.
To conceive an entity of perfection, one must first understand the principles of creation. If Anaxa is in Akama, then that means...
He's after Kefali.
Good shit. Anaxa will prove that Conria was operating in the same
sky
manner as
above us,
Amphorius to a degree.
It's
Yeah.
not real, is it?
Godless Nation is what Conria was. Yeah, but Conria wasn't destroyed by the Abyss. Conria was destroyed by the gods, by the Archons. Different things, but in Amphorius, the Grove was destroyed by this world's analog for the Abyss.
Of course not. This is just an image from a projection device used for educational purposes. A simple trick.
No, the actual sky.
The day-night cycle has been lost to this world. So that students like you may still learn about the night sky, astronomers have harnessed the Titan's miraculous power to manipulate the light, projecting the nights of the past here for you.
The Archons were involved. The Archons were involved with it.
Much like how the sky above the Holy City is also illuminated by Kefali's dawn device.
So, the skies of Akama are fake too.
You mustn't conclude that, Anaxa. You should know that only a child would expose a trick and be proud of it.
I would be sure that the heavenly principles are actually gods. So, this is kind of a semantics thing, but it really doesn't matter, because the term God is relative anyways. Since, you know, in Teyvat specifically, and this is a thing that I've kind of preached for a long time, ever since like 1.2 or something. The definition of a god in Teyvat is a very powerful being. That's literally it. That is all a god is. So, you know, Boreas is a god. You know, these a lot of these local creatures that are very powerful are gods, but so are Archons are gods. Heavenly Principles is a god, right? There is there's a hierarchy of their power, but it's still, God is a very fuzzy term. It's, yeah, so heavenly principles, yes, are a god. Are they like legitimate? Are they like entitled to their power, to their authority? That's up to debate. But are they a god? Yes. That's kind of the thinking there. It's just because they are incredibly powerful. Titans are not gods either, if we go by this definition then. I mean, they are, because they're incredibly powerful beings that stand apart from humans, right? That's the idea.
Often people know more than they let on. They simply choose to feign ignorance because they have no other choice.
Then they're just deluding themselves. People believe in Kefali's tale of Genesis, accepting wholesale whatever the priests preach. But we're different. We've already walked out of the firelit cave of ignorance. We have already realized that we live in a world where Titans make the rules. Even when we look at the sky, we're only seeing what they allow us to see. Rather than gazing at this mockery of a night sky fabricated by them for the rest of my life, why shouldn't I be the one to take control of a projection device instead?
Look at the sky. I'll be like
so much time has passed since you sowed the seeds of doubt in my heart, child. Many a night, I find myself penning down all my theories and wild ideas, only to burn them to ashes when I open my eyes in the day.
Why? Because we'll face death by burning if word gets out?
As a sage of the Venerationists, my soul has already become inextricably linked to the great tree. Every word I say and every move I make is certain to influence every leaf, every branch, even the tree itself. But above all else, my days are numbered. Instinctively, I have my doubts about the golden blood and the human soul, yet I have no means of verifying them. The golden blood in my veins is woefully thin, and I am loath to waste what little time I have left obsessing over a hypothesis that cannot even be proven in the first place.
But I can, sir. I can do it for us. The time is right. Give me all that I need, and I shall accomplish this grand feat on your behalf.
You're right. I shall do just that. In the next meeting of the sages, I will spare no efforts fighting for the rights you deserve. Go. Establish your own school of thought. Find out what we are. Become the one who conquers the ultimate truths of the world.
No way. Hey guys, it's Albedo. It's fucking Albedo. Anyways, okay. Guessing he was. Thank you. I have problems with intonation sometimes just because I'm not great with that, but yeah. Albedo is an artificial? I mean, he is. Anaxa isn't, but it's a similar idea. Similar mission. Same mission, actually. Go and discover the truth of this world. Say the exact same thing.
Child of humanity, You didn't go to such lengths for an audience with Kefali. Just ask him a few questions, did you?
Yeah, he's got some blaspheming to do. Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick break right now. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Let us pause timer. Yeah, I will be right back. Give me a quick second. Okay, hi, I'm back. I have Look at the Sky now stuck in my head. So thanks, Anax's professor, whatever. Let's see. In the ground, my fingers crashing down. Anyways, sorry, I love this song. Let us move back over to you. Okay. I need to double check what my settings for this are. Pause. Does it unpause? Yes, it does. Okay, we're good. So if we can compare now, Anaxa is more albedo then, so we can deduce someone created the crisis errors like albedo was created. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, because that goes back to what I was talking about here. It goes back to what I was talking about here, where don't mind the terrible handwriting, but the errors are inserted. The crisis errors are inserted by a third party, right? The crisis is like some weird third party has made the crisis errors and like inserted them because they don't fit into this like very simple relations of Titans making the creations, right? And the errors are not the same. They're not included in that. They're a completely separate entity.
So, you figured it out.
You're good, I can understand it. Usually my handwriting isn't terrible, but with a mouse it sucks. But yeah, that's the idea, right? Back to the roommates wielding fire and sharp objects. Love that. I love that for you. Good lord. One of my friends has one of the guys I talked to a bunch. His roommates are absolute party fiends, and he is very much not that kind of guy. So he has we'll be trying to play games with him, and he gets so mad, really, like, because his roommates would be doing absolute crazy shit. We were trying to play GTFO with him one time, and his roommates were like like burning shit out in the driveway or something. I don't know. But it was a success, but not the main objective. Gold wanted something else. I forget that aspect of Gold's or of Albedo's existence, but it sounds about right, because she was trying to do something more along the lines of Durin, right? She was trying to make Durin.
If I were as foolish as a Dromus, perhaps I'd throw myself down and prostrate before their greatness, begging for the gods' prophetic wisdom. Well, sorry to disappoint, but I'm no Dromus. Alas, I am a human, standing tall on 2 feet, possessing both intellect and pride.
Before such power, does it make any difference whether you're a human or a Dromus?
I'm sure you're familiar with the story of the Styxians. When the raging waves threatened to swallow them, they didn't just give up and become sitting ducks. No. They constructed a dam that kept the roaring tide at bay, chaining down the mad Fagusa. They call me a blasphemer, Xerxes. But that doesn't mean I deny the existence of gods. It's just... as I see it, Titans are simply a force that mankind has yet to find a way to tame.
Oh? If power that rivals the Titans is what you crave, why not conform to the prophecy and brave the trial?
Why stop at harnessing the power of the Titans when I can do so much more?
She failed about Durin. Oh yeah.
The source of life is what I wish to grasp, to understand what makes up the soul, and to learn what we really are. Thanks to you, I've had the chance to personally verify, in more ways than one, that the soul indeed ceases to exist in death. But where there is death, there is life. And where there is an end, there must also be a beginning. How then is a soul born? That was the only unknown variable left in my calculations.
And by the sound of it, you have already formed a conjecture.
No, I have already drawn a conclusion. In my journey unto death just now, I finally saw the answer with my own eyes.
Professor Anaxa,
Hi, casters.
I'm here. Her life hangs by a thread. I must ask you to refrain from taking any unnecessary steps.
Of course. I'll bring this to a conclusive end, and give you the answer you so desire. However, in accordance with the principle of equivalent exchange, I must also demand from you what I need.
As you wish.
Don't you care to know what the price might be?
It's a matter of uncovering the truth about the Death Titan and her survival. This may be the only time I can ever save someone's life. There is no need for me to think twice.
I see. In that case, let the show begin.
Indulge me. Am I correct to say that you intend to prove Thanatos' whereabouts and prove the nature of our existence now?
Before I begin, I must confess I had been stuck in a cognitive trap all this time. As unrelated as these two propositions may seem at first glance, they are in fact logical equivalents. They are merely two different ways of telling us about what the soul is at its core. The reason I say this is as I've mentioned earlier. The answer was hidden in my journey unto death.
Anaxa, you were in the Netherrealm?
Yes, I am but a living dead man now. But that's not important. What truly matters is, I overheard a conversation between heroes. That's not all. Remember how I said you were a part of that conversation too, Circes?
And I've told you that I have no recollection of such an event. That was likely just an illusion conjured up by the mind of a dying man.
Of course you would remember, because that wasn't you. That was Calypso, one of the 7 sages of the Grove.
Calypso?
Huh? Oh, that's the name I made up on a whim when speaking to this girl. How do you know of it? And surely you jest. Don't you think I, of all people, would know if that were the name of one of the 7 sages under the shade of my tree? Don't you claim to know the Grove's past like the back of your hand?
I'm dying, but who gives a fuck? Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's not the important part here. What matters is answers.
It seems you've lost even the memories seared into your soul. Use your head, Circes. Since all of this took place in the realm of the dead, it stands to reason their likenesses are of souls from the past. The living cannot step foot into that world. So who could they be? Think about Calypso. Why does she share your likeness? Yet you have no idea who she is. The answer is evident, is it not? Those fallen heroes are the mortal incarnations of the Titans before their ascensions to godhood. The gods aren't master creators born out of thin air, and they are no different from humans, because they all evolved from one.
So then does that mean that this is incorrect? That they are? Erasing this shit is hard. That they are? Oh. Regular pen tool. There we go. They are that? Are creations? Are humans? I don't know. Because they all evolved from one. They all evolved from humans.
Does this answer disappoint you?
Yes, because you've answered nothing. If I truly was once human, as you claim, then where do the children of humanity come from?
Even on the off chance that you speak the truth, this brings us no closer to grasping Thanatos' whereabouts. How are we to find them?
I knew you would say that, but it matters not. I know what I'm doing. Actually, why don't we have this supreme being standing before us tell us everything?
You can revive a Titan?
Humans cannot return from the dead. Neither can gods. But all we need to do is look at this from a different perspective, and the problem will resolve itself. The solution is simple. Just like what you did to me. If I'm reborn as Kefali, I can rebuild the world and all within it as they once did. Simple, is it not?
What the fuck?
I have news from Hyacinth and Danhung. Anaxa might be trying to do something with Kefali's divine body.
Sounds like Pokemon evolutions? True. Okay, so this... That's very interesting. So something about the Crisis Heirs allows them to... Something unique about the Crisis Heirs that allows them to evolve into Titans, and that's the cycle, right? I'm trying to think if that makes sense as a analog for vision holders for allergenes. No, that doesn't work because there's too many allergenes. Yep. They're like albedo, yeah.
Kefali. But what could Anaxa want? Is the Council of Elders going to sit around and let such a sacrilegious act unfold?
Well, because, yeah, allergenes can become Archons in some way. Although, to become an Archon does not require being an allergene. Which is an interesting turn of events. Because we have a lot of Archons that are not allergenes. But any allergene can become an Archon. I still, one of the weirder things about Genshin lore that I don't entirely like, what's the point of that? Because we got that information so fucking early on that it just it's so weird that that's like an aspect of Genshin lore, is any allergene can become an Archon, but like none of the Archons were allergenes beforehand. They were like some, or most of them were, I think. Like it's just always been so weird to me. But they're the perfect human like albedo and are able to do things normal humans can't. Okay, true. Good point. But then, okay, that's an interesting way of thinking about it. But then that would imply the existence of multiple other beings like albedo into that? I don't know. Okay, I'm not overthinking it. I just need to keep going.
Not possible. He is indeed the great performer, capable of fooling anyone and every...
I'm sorry.
No need for guilt, for this is good news to us. The Council of Elders has found themselves a traitorous ally. Anaxa's ambitious desires will be something we can exploit. What we should be doing now is to keep our eyes peeled for whichever trickery Kynus is up to, and react accordingly to thwart her plans. Being Akima's political center, the Demigod Council holds just as much significance as the Vortex of Genesis. Someday, after my duty is over, this site will take the place of the battlefield where you hunt gods. Become the next challenge you ought to overcome. Till then, it's best to get used to this place as soon as possible.
Preposterous! The Christos heirs only have their standing because of the Council of Elders. How dare they trample over it?
Wow, these people are shooting daggers with their eyes.
It's been a while.
Hi, Kratos. Hello, Oleg of
What is that
Amphorius.
supposed to mean? Is this really the sort of person that the young lord praised as a ferocious warrior?
It has indeed been some time, Lord Crateros. What brings you here in such haste?
Shh, keep it down. Be more vigilant. See those duplicitous dogs over there? They do the dirty work for kindness. I've already ordered my people to hold them back, but we should still lay low. Unless you're itching for a bloody fight to get a workout in.
My bad. So, did something happen?
Did you hear thunderclaps last night?
Yeah, hooray, it's accurate. That's what it's going. No, it'd be hard to notice thunderclaps in broad
Thunderclaps are
daylight.
beacon signals of strife. They are a message from the young lord. He threw a spear bearing several words at Akama.
It feels like a very
The Flame Reaver is back.
I guessed as much.
Okay.
We didn't actually kill them back at the Kremnos Arena.
I figured this is something you would want to know. We Kremnoans never back down from a fight. So if you plan to take that thing down in a battle, reach out to me anytime.
You have my gratitude. I will let Aglaya know about this right away.
She already knows.
Remind her to be on her toes while you're at it. That vicious kindness has been unusually active lately.
I like how Kratos even hates kindness.
Those lackeys she keeps undercover have been going in and out of the city a lot more frequently these days. Some even seem to be getting Kremnoans to defect to the council.
He's poaching.
That's...
Looks like you can see it for yourself.
We should get back. Thank you for the intel, Lord Crateros.
Okay, interesting.
By Catholy into Lenten above, as the Theoros I have observed.
Forgot about this dude.
Virtuous citizens of Akama, Fine and Vides, Elysiae, and the Outlander are heading toward us.
Aglaya, what happened here?
I know about the poisonous fangs of that king snake through the golden threads. In the past, I would be confident about keeping her in check, but I admit I am now unable to do so.
What do you mean?
It is no longer about eloquence or arguments. I have been a demigod for far too long that I hardly have any humanity left. Before I realized it, I have become no different from these hypocrites, no longer capable of relating to the people. This has come a lot sooner than I expected. But perhaps it is time. I need you to step up, Finan, in order for me to retreat behind the scenes.
Yes, this is my duty, but...
It is far easier for the Council of Elders to fool many than just fool one person. Their so-called more support is no more than a ruse to distribute power using words instead of lances. There is no glory in winning this debate, but that makes having respect for humans so much more priceless. Finan, you are a Chrysos heir without flaw, capable of relating deeply with humans.
I appreciate what you've taught me, Aglaya. I hope we'll live up to your expectations and win this debate.
Okay, this will be interesting.
Oh, you've done well, Lord Calictus. Let me take over and personally close this debate for today. Dearest counselors, let it be known that I sorely miss the blissful times portrayed in lyrical poems. Back then, Amphorius was home to nearly 1,000 cities. each with their own local faith, while gods walked the earth and shared close bonds with humans. Yet, in the present, people from all over are forced to leave their homeland to seek refuge in the Holy City, where they hope to rest under Kefali's protection. All of us have long been in the same boat, with no way out of this plight. We didn't have a choice in the past, but now, the Council of Elders brings to the table a new possibility. All I have left is one question for you. Would you rather strive toward the unheard of Era Nova, or return to the prosperous Era Chrysia of our past?
This is literally conservatism.
Make your choice. Now, which of the two would lead mortals to an ideal future?
This is literally what conservatism is. Because there's always like being able yeah, it's a core idea in conservatism that everything was better in the past, in the before. We should revert back to the time before, when things were different, when things were better. It's this idea of like nostalgia, which is very dangerous because it is much easier to control what the nostalgia actually is. If instead of trying to, you just can't control like yeah, it's all just politics. It's all just, this is literally just politics. It's literally, I don't like the Era Nova. Era Nova is a path of salvation the gods promised. We should not have. Ah! I dropped my pen.
We all know that Era Chrysia is a thing of the past, Lady Kindness.
Yeah, Era Nova is a path of salvation the gods promised. We should not have doubts in the flame chase journey.
Please enlighten me. How does the Council of Elders plan to turn back time?
Let the three Titans of Calamity be born, and Era Chrysia is nevermore. But bring demise to those Titans, and Era Chrysia will descend upon us again. Know that the Council of Elders is never one to make empty promises. Look at who we have on our side. Anaxagoras, one of the Grove's 7 sages, and Castorus, Idonia's goddess of death. With the help of these two heroes, I can promise all of you that Era Chrysia will exist once more.
Aren't they Chrysos heirs? They're supporting the Council of Elders instead?
It's clear from the start that these heroes do not get along well in their group. All the more proof that Aglaya isn't fit to speak on behalf of every Chrysos heir. I am in favor of Era Chrysia.
Era Chrysia! Castorus? Why are you standing over there?
You finally arrived, Naxa. So have you, Cass.
Don't worry, Aglaya. Well, I know that you have many queries. Could you continue to converse like how the citizens normally do? Tell me, dear citizens, if we successfully retrieve and return Thanatos' core flame without anyone passing the Death Titan's trial, what would happen next?
The answer is simple. We will have a chance to rid the world of death and bring Amphorius back to an era when all beings live forever. We'll usher in a new future that will be entirely different from the flame chase journey.
He's one of the 7 sages.
Members of the Council of Elders are discussing fervently.
Your proposal is much too idealistic. As long as the Black Tide still exists, how can we go back to the old days?
Remember what I previously said? Kefali's core flame is guarded by the secret power of the Council of Elders. Plus, Fagusa's water curtain will be able to block out any external perceptions. Tell me, dear citizens, have any of you ever seen even a glimpse of the threat that this person is talking about anywhere within the walls of this majestic holy city?
Isn't this just survivorship bias?
If we eliminate death,
I love
there's
style.
no need for us to fear that flame killer, right?
Isn't this just survivorship bias? It's crazy.
Him. Oh, beautiful old world, where are you now? Oh, legendary Eracrysia, return to the mortal realm.
They're fucking with Kainos. The Cass and Anaxa are fucking with Kainos. I know. I gotta.
After the destruction of the 3 Titans of Calamity, the Flame Chase journey will have to end.
This is bad. The masses are now...
Anaxa, pray tell. Everything that you've mentioned hinges on the premise that we can find Thanatos' existence, right?
Thank you, Lady Aglaya, for still caring about this city. However, dear citizens, we are truly fortunate and blessed. For Castoris, Idonia's goddess of death, will surely find Thanatos under my guidance.
What?
With that, I solemnly promise that the core flame Lady Castoris brings back will be personally managed by the Council of Elders.
Is he gonna just go like equivalent exchange that shit? Is he gonna like bring back Thanatos' core flame and then like hand it over to the elders? Like, okay, now payment, give me the give me Kefali's core flame.
Thereafter, if we are able to garner the support of all of you at the Citizens' Assembly, we shall spare no effort in ensuring that the Eracrysia will return to our
He just says whatever
world
one
once
wants to hear.
again.
Yeah, the performer. He's just a performer. Genuine excitement.
With the balance shattered, the result is clear. By Kefali and Talenton above, as the Theoros, I have observed Akama has chosen her destiny. The issue up for discussion at this Citizens' Assembly shall be modified to the suspension of the Flame Chase journey. This resolution shall be put up on the Wall of Heroes, such that all citizens are aware of the city's...
Aglaya, dear Aglaya, what has caused your heart to soften? You also don't seem to be as quick-witted as before.
Wag your tongue as much as you like. Since the Flame Chase journey has been preordained by the prophecy, our failure has never been on the cards.
Well then, I guess we'll find out if that's true at the Citizens' Assembly.
Legacy announces the conclusion of the debate and the attendees part ways. Castoris, what's going on?
Well, it seems that when I sent you to look for Anaxa, I unintentionally facilitated your partnership with him instead.
My apologies, everyone. I know that you have many questions to ask me. I will answer them to the best of my knowledge.
In that case...
What happened when you went to look for Anaxa?
In actuality, he showed me a past that was both long and heavy.
The reason I say this is as I've mentioned earlier.
Anaxa.
Yes, I am but a...
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Have you heard of this tale before? A tale about the ocean god's treasured pearl, our hometown.
You're such a performance. we love that. Okay, tell about Ocean God's Treasure Pearl, our
It
hometown.
was a seaside town which enjoyed the ocean breeze and glorious, peaceful times, thanks to the wisdom of its ruling queen. Until one day,
Hey, it's Pollux.
an evil dragon descended upon the town. Its wings were large enough to blot out the sun, while its claws were sharp enough to rip the waves apart. It barged into the tall tower.
Void Archives would love
and
them.
devoured the queen's beloved daughter.
Pure
Even
chaos,
settled
just for
itself in her
chaos's
bedroom,
sake.
like a tyrant king. The queen assembled 300 warriors who managed to subdue the evil dragon by chaining it up. However, when the queen slit open the dragon's belly, she realized that the princess had long since been digested, and all that was left of her was a pile of bones. Devastated, it was then that a devious, smooth-talking scholar arrived at the palace and suggested that the princess could be revived through the use of dragon bone and dragon blood. That liar called this process the secret art of alchemy.
That is... Darren?
The princess was reborn! The queen was overjoyed, blissfully unaware that the evil dragon's soul still lurked within the princess's body. As revenge, the evil dragon swallowed the poor queen, the glib liar, the courageous warriors, and all of the town's innocent civilians in a single gulp.
Fallon!
Worse still, the souls of the deceased refused entry to the Netherrealm because they were filled with regret. Forced to roam the mortal realm, these resentful souls ultimately converged into a river of souls that would not retreat for a long time. The terrifying death had consumed all. Thereafter, our hometown fell into ruin as well. Until...
Until?
Actually, I don't know what happened next either.
Wonderful storytelling.
Oh my...
Oh, she's in a
seems
wheelchair.
that you still like to whet people's appetites even after all this time, Polixia.
See, Polyxia's wheelchair is a perfect example of you can make wheelchairs work in fantasy. Like, look at how dope that fucking design is.
So...
Go off, girl.
According to your story, this is how I used to look? It's practically a mirror image. And yet, what exactly is this?
A miracle that I created with alchemy. As for what it is and how I was able to accomplish it, I'll keep the answers to myself for now.
Okay, yeah, sure, dude.
Oh, my goodness. Is this cliffhanger really necessary?
Cassius is having a hard time with this one.
Quiet, Titan. Continue to enjoy this splendid play, and the truth will naturally...
Yeah, Cersei's is being like all snappy at Anaxa for this, and then Cassius is just kind of crying in a corner.
Dragon, huh? I've heard this legend before.
In that case, what do you think of it?
I think that this so-called alchemy was a tenuous analogy added to the story by future generations. After all, you've never heard of a tradition of alchemy in your hometown before, have you?
Indeed. Before I left home to pursue my education, I never even knew that anybody was looking into this area of study.
What is happening with your eye? Trying to figure out what's going on there.
Therefore, we can just treat this tale as a fable told to young children.
No, you can't.
A fable, you say? If so, what moral is it trying to impart to the kids?
A fable doesn't need a moral. I mean, I kind of have a book next to me that proves that point.
I guess it might be the concept of equivalent exchange?
Oh? I thought the moral might be closer to something like honor the dead.
I love Blixie.
What? At a loss for words?
No, I merely realized that we're both thinking of the same principle. If life is priceless, then there is hardly anything else in this world that is of equal weight to it, right?
Indeed. As expected of the wisest scholar in the land.
You flatter me. Why don't I ask you a question as well, as a form of equivalent exchange?
Of course. What is your question?
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
What? What kind of strange question is this? I got it. You're just trying to get me to tell you whether I like anyone, right?
Yeah, okay. Imagine if that was like the bait you were trying to use. Like, do you love anybody? Would you resurrect someone? Like, come on, what?
Let's just leave it at that. That was rude of me.
Yes, I would.
Oh?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I'm certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good, if such a mighty power really existed. I think I would use it without hesitation. After all, you, me, and the rest will all have to face that fateful moment eventually. My time is finally here. However, perhaps because of my firm belief in the immeasurable value of life, I am unable to complete the trial.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. It is a pity that fate is such a cruel mistress.
Is there no other way of interpreting those words?
I'm afraid that the meaning is clear. Between my sister and me, one must pay the price. Our trial can only be completed when the one chosen sacrifices her life. I'm afraid that the prophecy might even have selected a pair of twins for this exact purpose.
Fortune makes fools of us all.
That's all of the core flames except for Thanatos. What does our board currently look like? It's everyone who do we have? We don't have Kefali, we don't have... I know we have a couple that we're missing still. Ornyx, Kefali, Cersei. Yeah, okay, so yeah, we have all of the... So in this reincarnation, Thanatos is last.
My sister is prepared to sacrifice herself. And yet, I can't do the same. How absurd. My time is almost up, but I'm still afraid to welcome death. What should we do? if I'm ultimately not able to make up my mind?
Since Chaos is willing to guide all of us and leave this trial to the end, there is still plenty of time for you to ponder.
That's right. Don't allow the fog of an uncertain future to cloud your mind.
Trial, prophecy, the topics that they're discussing seem familiar.
I like how chill Nias is. Like, I love that. I love him. He's such a vibe. I love that dude.
But these three people must not have left their names in the epics. Otherwise, I would have some recollection of this.
Amphorius's history before the Titans were born was complete chaos. Is that not strange by itself? I have long held 3 hypotheses about this. However, let's continue watching for now.
Fucking hate this game.
Calypso, Polixia, and this warrior.
That's
I seem
Nias.
to have met him somewhere before.
Regarding this matter, Nias, are you confident that you'll complete your trial?
Of course. Though, I am worried about what will happen once I've emerged victorious.
Looks like you have made up your mind.
Yes, this is the safest course of action.
Completely separating courage, honor, tenacity, sacrifice, and reason. You really know how to make things difficult.
Please, young lady, witness my fall and demise. Lady Calypso, you shall host the soul-rending ceremony.
I do not understand. Why would you dare to sacrifice yourself for a future that you won't get to witness?
Because this is our destiny. The power that resides within me is so intense that I will one day be engulfed by it. Furthermore, a valorous death before glorious return has always been the path I chose to walk. A journey I began long ago. If your sister or Chaos were in my position, I believe they would make the same choice as well.
I'm not that brave. I don't know how I'm supposed to face such a serious affair.
Despite being Death's chosen one, it seems you still don't know how to face it. Let's chat, young lady. Perhaps I shouldn't end my journey so hastily.
Again, I love Nias so much. He's so chill. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna put my duties on the side for a moment. We're gonna have like a bit of a chat. I'm gonna help you out here. Like, crazy dad energy. I love this man.
There's still time. I'm not worried about letting fate wait a little longer.
Of course. This warrior is Lord Nias. As the embodiment of Nikador's divinity, he entrusted his life to us and allowed humankind to end his madness. That means that what I'm currently seeing before my eyes is, in fact...
Looks like one hypothesis of mine has already been proven true. These heroes are the true forms of the Titans, before they attain their divinity.
So it almost sounds like the previous incarnation of the Crisis Heirs did all their trials in one go. Because right now the Crisis Heirs are doing their trials as they get the core flames, but it almost sounds like they did them all in one, and like at one time.
If so, the chosen one of death that he speaks of is actually...
Thanatos.
Polixia? Is the previous form of Thanatos? But her appearance...
If this is true, as long as we can find out where she went, we'll naturally be able to figure out the location of the Death Titan.
She's your dragon casteress.
But before that, we first need to witness...
I still don't know how that works, but you know, it's whatever. Ash falls like butterflies. Cool. It's an enemy. Okay.
Honor, courage,
Tenacity.
tenacity, sacrifice.
And finally, the only thing that remains is reason.
Cheer up, young lady. There is no need to shed tears over a glorious death.
All farewells in this world are sorrowful, Lord Nias.
No, young lady. As a warrior, I have witnessed too many bitter deaths. But now, all I feel is peace. I did not know until this moment that mortals could live their lives in such a way.
Although only a sliver of your soul remains, you remain so optimistic. Or maybe the truth is that you aren't able to feel sorrow anymore.
To be honest, I don't know either.
Okay.
But I am
Love that.
certain of one thing. This is not an acceptance of death nor apathy toward it. It's not even a feeling of despair. I am just enjoying what remains of my life to the fullest.
Based. I love that. Live in life, die in death.
Indeed. Along this journey that we've taken together, not only have I changed the world, I myself have also changed in the process. And now I have reached the journey's end. When I look back and see the grand epic that I've personally written, how could I not revel in that fact?
It's going to Aquila yet. Yeah, okay. So we're missing a handful of them still.
Won't all of your accomplishments be reduced to nothing? Separation and death are two sides of the same coin. Reconciling this doesn't come easily for a mortal.
Finally, let me recount to you a story of mine, young lady. The first time I returned from the battlefield, I felt extremely hollow.
I'm missing our next trailers. Already passed the trailer. Yeah, but
everybody
the
on the
point is that they're doing
When I returned
Thanatos
to
last.
the city alone, the citizens held a banquet for me that was far from pleasant. I felt as though I was still on the battlefield, and the person who had returned was nothing but an empty shell. It was late into the night by the time the banquet ended. My head still reeling, I returned alone to the barracks. On the way back, I encountered someone. It was a crazed scholar looking at the night sky and muttering to himself by the side of the road. Although I tripped over him and fell, I wasn't angry in the slightest. And maybe because I saw myself in him, I inexplicably asked him a question. Do you think that it'd be better if we just died on the roadside like a couple of stray dogs? To my surprise, he shrugged his shoulders and sighed.
How does someone who is currently experiencing death, dying and living, afford the same amount of bliss? Now please go away and don't block my starlight.
That is a Diogenes reference. I knew he was going to be a Diogenes reference. That is a Diogenes reference. Anyways, well, this time we're probably doing Kefali last, which is interesting to me. It's interesting that we're doing Kefali last. Unless we're doing... That's so weird.
Are you trying to say that there is no difference between living and dying? For they are both journeys that lead toward death?
That's exactly what life is, and death is, but a scale to measure how valuable the journey was. Journeys and epics are only glorious and magnificent because all things eventually fade to dust. Therefore, young lady, don't detest your fate. Instead, willingly and respectfully embrace it.
The embodiment of strife telling me about the majesty of the world.
Indeed. I believe that when the fated moment eventually arrives, you will be able to understand my words. It is time for me to knock on death's door. I will set up a long table at the end of the road and humbly await your arrival. When that moment finally comes, let us drink and be merry then.
I love Naya so much.
I knew this day would eventually come.
I want to know if there is a group of Crisis heirs that is all marked by having golden blood, and how do you know who we choose and take the Titan trial? It's interesting, right? Because, so to some extent, it's very easy to figure that out because there is an inexplicable connection to, well, I mean, yeah, every Chrysos heir has a connection to another Titan, right? Like it's pretty easy.
Are the both of you ready?
Mm-hmm. Polixia.
Hi, Casters.
I'm here. What? This...
This is quite interesting indeed.
Yeah, we couldn't have guessed that, though. I mean...
Polixia's sister?
It's you, baby girl. It's literally you.
Me?
There you go.
Now, it's time for us to fulfill our promises. Are you afraid?
Oh.
What are you afraid of?
That I won't be able to do it.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. As foretold in the prophecy, and according to our vows, once it all ends, we must face our fated moment head-on.
Even if it was prophesized, do we have no say in the matter? It's so unfair. Why are we the only ones who are forced into mutual destruction? Let me do it, sister. Let me be death's sacrifice. I was never long for this world anyway. But you're different. I was the one who wasted your life after all.
Hmm?
You're wrong, Polixia. I don't think that my life was wasted. Just the opposite. When I finally arrived at this destination and looked back at the journey I took, I discovered that flowers had long since bloomed along the path I walked. It was you who sowed the seeds for this sea of flowers. One that is more beautiful than the promised land at the end of the world.
Sea of flowers. Whoa.
Besides, I have lived a fulfilling life. Even though I was fated for sacrifice, none of the things that I've experienced will dissipate. Instead, they'll forever live on as memories inside your head. Will they not?
No.
How could my memories of you ever compare to the actual you? Well then, tell me, what exactly are we? I don't know. I don't know either. But regardless of what the answer is, regardless of how we're shaped by others, or even by this world, ever since we were born, the fact that we existed was predestined, and nothing could erase it. This is why I will always, always be by your side. We're twins, after all. All right, my dear Polixia. It's time to extract my heart and light the flame of death. After that, use it to plant the first bud in the prophesied new world.
So Thanatos isn't just death, it's more rebirth. Okay. So yeah, it's very much a core. I think it's a misunderstanding of what Thanatos actually stands for, because so where my mind is going is that is what I have. That is what I interpret remembrance to be, because remembrance is the the entire job of remembrance as an Eon, as is stated by that one light cone, is to gather memories so that they can restart the universe once it comes to the end due to the finality, right? That is what remembrance is. So it's, and we know that because of all the, it's stated in the thing, but there's also a lot of parallels in symbols that tie gardening, seeds, agriculture and that sort of stuff back to Fuli. And Fuli, one of Fuli's nicknames is the glow swather, which is an agricultural tool, right? A swather is an agricultural thing for gathering crop. So that's the idea, right? Is on restart, Fuli is the one to plant the seed of life back and just kind of make everything go again. So that means that there are two Titans, at least that we know of, that are confirmed connected to, or there's one that is confirmed connected to Fuli. Then there's Thanatos, who is probably connected to Fuli, because you also have all of this plant symbolism. Use it to plant the fire, the first bud of the prophesied new world, yada yada yada. There is, and then there's also that idea of rebirth instead of just being death. Still find this idea a bit weird, because followers of the Shapeless Prince connect push finality directly to this new beginning. So it's weird because so the theory of three that I pitched in that one video is the idea that there are 3 eons that are kind of the core of the universe's existence. There is there's Fuli, which is the birth of the universe, which is the restart. There is Hu, which is just everything in between, and then there's finality, which is the end, right? So it's more this kind of Fuli and Terminus kind of exist only in these like split second moments, like these instantaneous moments. So they're kind of one and the same, but in very different ways, right? How do I explain? Like, it makes sense in my head, but it is a very nuanced distinction between the two. But perhaps the way Amphoreus works, Titan's air cycles, etc., simulates reality, and Axa reminds me of Aha and SU with realizing the truth. Yeah, no, that is true. That is very true. I definitely do think this is a greater analog for something, for at least either Genshin or for the rest of the HSR universe as it is. Or it could be both, who knows. But that's at least what I'm gathering here is, so yeah, so there's the whole idea that there's that whole idea that you like at the very end is where finality just says, okay, we're shutting down the computer. And then at that moment, like that's where the reboot starts, and then the split second after that is Fuli actually starting a rebirth. Since eons do ascend, car horn. Since eons do ascend, Antichrist has heirs too, and by proxy, you mentioned Genshin. Yeah, you know that does make a lot of sense actually.
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you,
oh shit, okay.
Would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I am certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good.
Okay, that makes sense.
If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation, even now. This is why, sister, I promise you, in the prophesized new world, I shall plant the first bud on your behalf. Go now. Return to the ocean god's treasured pearl, our hometown. I shall open wide the entrance to the Netherrealm and grant you a second life. The living beings on this earth shall respond to my call and lead you to the sacred daylight. Remember, do not look back on the land of the dead, and do not stop moving. In the new world promised by the prophecy, march toward your new life. As for the price of our equivalent exchange, let me be the one to pay it.
Everybody, we've come to the end. Unfortunately, I am not compatible with the Supreme Being, so I was unable to completely fuse their soul into my own body. However, being able to glean all this from them is exciting enough.
Yeah, you definitely sound it.
I'm certain of this now. Before the Titans that we are well acquainted with were born, a group of heroes roamed the land. These heroes followed a prophecy and took possession of divine authorities one by one, until they eventually became the pantheon of the new world. Just like the flame chase journey of today, Amphorius's history is cyclical in nature.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy having a game just straight up say that. Like, okay.
This means that the demigods, who bear the core flames, will also become the new Titans at the world's end, thereby shaping a new world?
I believe that this is the
Genshin.
truth behind
Genshin.
Nova, as mentioned. in
Just
the
say
promise.
shit. Era Nova is just the same thing as Era Chrysia,
This is
but like in a weird way.
besides
They like overlap.
those twins in the past. Even if they really are Thanatos,
Castorus, you dense a little
are still
shit.
unknown even today.
You dense little shit. It's you. It's literally you,
Are
babe.
their whereabouts truly unknown? Didn't Polixia mention that seaside town? The birthplace of alchemy and the tale of the dragon.
I wonder if there's similar things happening with Finan.
In our world, there exists a city which perfectly matches that description. Styxia.
But the people there worship Fagusa and bear no relation to Thanatos. I have also never been to that place, as in the time of Idonia, it had long turned into underwater ruins.
Take this.
This is...
The new Sporist masterpiece. The Philosopher's Stone. It was made by transmuting all of the sages' wisdom into a single entity, with their flesh and blood as its foundation.
Okay, interesting.
Remember? I've mentioned before that the art of alchemy is all about conversion, tempering, and ascension. This process also applies to the pursuit of truth. Regardless of how unbelievable this sounds, the truths of the world have been refined from the impurities. Think about the story of the dragon. This stone will lead you to your real hometown, allowing you to reform the door to the Nether Realm and discover Thanatos' fate.
You still look as confident in your victory as ever. But what if your conjecture is wrong?
Simple. I shall merely admit to the entire world that my experiment was a failure. However, my line of thinking will not fail, because I have already planted the seeds of doubt into the hearts of the actions speak louder than words, Castorus. With the assembly about to begin, don't...
I've already searched for so long. I'm willing to try one more time. While we converse, her life is also slowly slipping away. But before I leave, I have another question. What exactly did we witness just...
That was the world imprinted in Kefali's soul.
Yeah, chaos.
If we are to prove its existence, you must take the final step. Go. Do not disappoint me.
So then, Kefali is also tied to Fuli.
I understand.
Because Kefali's body is a vessel for memory?
Hey, child of humanity.
Possibly.
Don't get antsy. I still remember the question you... As a scholar, I do not wish to offer up ambiguous conclusions. Let's discuss this topic again when she manages to find the evidence.
I merely wanted to ask, was that stone transmuted from your heart? If so, rebirth is no longer an option for you.
Why not? When I was a child, I lost someone dear to me. When I was a teenager, I lost my faith. A while back, although you saved my life, I also lost my soul in the process. Now I'm merely forsaking my body. What's the big deal?
Why are you always finding ways to die? Isn't it good to be alive?
I also need to remember that there are 2 more paths. Yeah, I know. That's true. You gotta remember about Noose. And the 3rd mystery one, which I'm still convinced it's Aha, but we'll get there.
This is but a necessary sacrifice on my path to transform into the purest of them all.
Can someone who's dead even claim to be the purest of them all? Furthermore, if your hypothesis is proven correct, does it not just confirm that the myths are true, and thereby invalidate all your theories?
No, it's just the opposite. If my hypothesis is correct, it means that I can actually ascend to godhood and reshape this absurd world that you all have created.
Yeah, Noose was just straight up confirmed to us. It's just the 3rd one that's unclear.
That's a lot to take in at once.
It's quite a bit.
Lady Aglaya, please, let me explain.
You just did, girl.
You know that the core flame of death has always been the greatest unknown regarding the Era Nova, which is why both you and Kindness desire to gain the power to control that core flame in the approaching Citizens' Assembly. Professor Anaxa has come to a consensus with Kindness. They want to suspend the trial once Thanatos' core flame is reclaimed, hoping thus to eradicate death from this world. If they're successful, then the flame chase journey will cease, and Akama can enjoy everlasting peace. But I know this runs counter to your wishes. So long as we do not usher in Era Nova, the Black Tide will never be eradicated. Even with Lord Mighty on the front line, and the Black Tide not posing an immediate risk, the danger nevertheless remains. Honestly, it's difficult for me to assess the pros and cons in this decision. But someone must bring the core flame before we can begin negotiations over it. The Titan could be very near. I cannot let this chance slip by. Besides, someone has to make this trip to bring back Mrs. Soul.
Well said. You already had every reason to seek an audience with Thanatos. It's that great performer who has weaponized your wishes and placed us in this difficult situation. A world without death. Do you desire that too?
The Wafu has a lot. The Xianzhou has a lot to say about that.
If fate dictates that my path must oppose yours, I will do all I can to resist it and protect what I... Lord Mighty showed me that without taking the first step, all talk of what follows is moot.
Professors, you've changed.
I have always
She saw shit.
your mind, Cass. And I am glad to have heard your true thoughts. Styxia. I visited that place in the past. Though it is now an island surrounded by the river of Soul's torrents, it's not hard to see its former split. Go. I will not stand in your way. Castoris, I too look forward to your journey. I wonder what kinds of new interpretations your completed story will bring to the flame.
I hate to put a damper on this heartwarming moment, but if Styxia is now an island surrounded by
I've
the
played
river
these
of Soul's
games
torrents,
before.
then how do we find a way in? Lady Treby...
The answer is quite simple. In the myths, Zagreus once made the domain of the dead their treasure vault. That is to say, they could enter and leave the nether realm as they pleased. And if they could do that, then it follows that the demigod who inherited their divinity
Time to get some
must be
Cypher.
capable. I'll see you at Memorial Palace at Action Hour tomorrow. Cypher shall be your guide to finding that ancient city.
Tumultuous day finally comes to an end. Everyone disperses and each lost in their own thoughts. Dunhong isn't back yet, huh? Okay, so I think that's gonna be the stream for today. Zagreus can be both dead and alive and dead at the same time. Doesn't that apply the same for Aha? I guess? I would have to see what the reasoning is for Zagreus to be able to do that in order to apply that to Aha, but I mean, in theory, yeah. Look if someone was lost in thought. Let's see who is it. I just want to see who it is. I'm probably not gonna write it right now. Oh, there's 3 of them, so quite a bit. Ooh, Hyacinth though. The Naxa? Is it? Yeah, it's a Naxa. Oh, hi. Yeah, guys, he's upside down in a tree. Hi, Anaxa. Okay. Anyways. Yeah. So I think that's where I'm gonna end for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. A little bit. There we go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Good stream. I'm excited for the new Genshin version for the first time in a minute. And yeah. Yeah, of course. I'm not sure when I'm gonna be streaming again. Might just be next week. We'll see. The final season is starting to pick up, so I have a couple of like projects I need to wrap up. So I don't know if the streams are gonna be slow until the summer actually starts, but until then, yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Things are getting interesting, and I will see you guys later. So, bye-bye, y'all.